Hey, what would I do without you guys? Thank you so much. You missed a long rambling intro. I didn't say anything of worth. Oh, Jesus. Um, Thanks, guys, for pointing that out. All I was saying is I have given these a quick skim already. I haven't had a chance to fully deep dive, and I haven't looked at any of the points really because I was looking at these on my phone while I was doing my job. So let's get into it. Custodian Guard with the two sets of spears. The best thing about having no audio there is that you missed me completely fail to say the names of the spears, so I'm not even going to try again. So they've got Stand Vigil. They've kept the same rule as the Custodian Guard, which is great. It's a really solid rule. They are only 5 in a squad. You don't get the full 4 to 10, which is interesting. I don't know if 5 models is a unit that you particularly want to be running, but we'll see. They also have a once per battle, lethal hits, and ignore cover for shooting only. I don't know if I love that. They've both got one-shot weapons, which makes lethal hits kind of You really want way to fire for that. Ignores cover is really nice, especially on adversite spears. I guess if these are pointed the same as Custodian Guard and you want to take a small squad of them, I don't really see why you wouldn't. So they've got either a single shot at strength 5 AP2 3 damage, which is not a bad profile, 18-inch range, or the Melter Spear, which is strength 9 AP4 D6 damage, 12-inch range, Melter 2. I don't love that, although Custodies are kind of lacking on anti-tank. I don't think this is going to bring enough volume. It's nice to see in melee they actually have the same profile as the Custodian Guard spears. That's not what they usually do. They usually just have a worse profile, so good to see they've caught up. I don't think I particularly love these guys. Let's have a quick look at the points on the Custodies. I'm not going to change screen on here just for my convenience, but we have got 325 points for 5 models. All right, these are dog shit. Games Workshop, what the fuck are you smoking? These are possibly worse than normal guard. They don't have they don't have assault on their weapons, so they're less mobile. You can only take them in really limited squad sizes, and apparently they're just something daft like 65 points a model. Yeah, no, 65 points a model. Absolutely not. Get in the fucking bin. All right, Sagittarium. Rip me. Anyone who watches the podcast will know that I converted up 9 of these for the team event we went to. Really was pleased with them. Turns out, no longer pleased for 2 reasons. They come in squads of 5 instead of squads of 3, so I'm just a Saggy short. I do have, to be fair, I have got a body here that I can turn into another one. But yeah, look what they've done to my boys. Hey, Gilmaris, good to have you. So they've still got a heavy bolter, and heavy bolters are not super insane. And they've lost their underslung strength single shot, strength 5 AP3 3 damage shot. That sucks large amounts. You get suppression volleys, which is -1 to hit for a squad, which is not a rule that I particularly love. It's kind of just there. And disintegration beams, which is once per game, get devastating wounds. That's not bad. But how many points are they at? Saggy. Where are they on this list here? 250. Okay, so there's the same points as Wardens. They're more expensive than Guard. I don't think I take them at this point. They're cheap enough that you maybe play around with them. They're not like the bloody Adricite Spears at 65 points a model. I don't know. Maybe they're worth a look in if you feel like you need range fire power, but I don't like them. Aquilans. Something to note here as well. It looks like everyone's just getting leaders can join them for the normal amount of the normal squads that they'd be translated to. So Custodian Guard, you can get the guys there. These guys, I'm sure, can because the Alaris Terminators makes sense to me. What do they got? Aquilan Custodians. Let's look at their points first because they're always more expensive, and that makes me sad because I love the big chunky boys. So just for reference, Alaris are 195 for 3. Aquilin are 230 for 3. God damn. Why are you doing us dirty? Reroll 1s to wound on ranged attacks against the closest eligible target. Whatever. And then can go back into strat reserve once per battle. Same as the normal Terminators. The melee better be fucking better. What have they got? They've got a Flamer 611. That's not bad, but it's not insane for the points. Stormbolter, 2 shots at 511. That's actively bad. It's rapid fire too, but it's still not great. The Destructor is now a single shot 623. That's a good profile. It's only 1 shot though. Twin Linked is fine. I'm not paying that much for these guys. And then in melee, you can have a Power Fist. Neat. Because, you know, +1 strength is exactly what I needed on my Terminators. Why would I pay more points for that? Power Talon's kind of interesting, but it doesn't have Twin Linked. I know they don't have 2 of them, but Lightning Claws have typically had some sort of reroll for as long as I've remembered playing. The game used to be rerolled hits. Now it's reroll wounds. Yeah, I don't know. If this had reroll wounds, I think that would be legitimately an interesting conversation. Maybe not at the points cost that there are, but yeah, that's a pass for me, dog. And you can't take squads of 2 as well, which is just ugh. You can mix and match weapons in there if you take them. So cool. Okay, Dreadnoughts. I have heard that these are aggressively costed. Let's have a look. 155 points. That's really fucking cheap. How much is the normal Dreadnought? I'm sure it's like 175. 185 for a Venerable Contemptor. So this has the same stat line. It has this... Okay, it doesn't get back on death, but instead it does charge mortals, which is a good rule. I just find it boring. I think the stat line's the same otherwise. And then it has got... Let's see here. The Dread Spear got a bit worse. It's AP 2 instead of 3. That's fine. 12 inches. I'm sure it used to be a bit longer than that. I only played them for one event, so maybe it's not. Incinerators, you have 2 of them. Torrent ignores cover, 611. That's pretty good. I don't hate that. That's a really nice Overwatch threat on something that's ostensibly just cheap. The Stormbolters I probably wouldn't take, and the Adrathic Destructors, maybe you take them here, because they're all going to cost the same. 2 shots at 623, rerolling wounds. That's not awful. And then in melee, it's 5 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 12, AP2, D6 +1. That's not bad. I think it used to be D3 +3 in melee, something along those lines, so it's not significantly worse. This is an absolute win. OC3 is fine. Yeah, I hate the movement 6, but like everything else about it I like. You can't deep strike it. That was how I was using mine. I wonder if there's a way of deep striking them. I'd have to look into that. But, oh, you can mix and match the weapons as well. I don't know why you ever would. Just tool it up for the job you want it to do, but that's cool. I like customizability. The more of that, the better. Agamatus Custodians. They're the silly jet bikes, the 30k jet bikes. So are they cheaper than the current ones? Because the current jet bikes, the Virtus Praetors, are 90 points a model, and the Agamatus are cool, like 93 points a model. Fantastic. So have they got anything to make that worthwhile? Las Pulsar 912, 2 shots, reroll wounds. No. The Devastator is, I think, just worse in every respect than the Melter shot. Interceptor Lance is the same. You get the flat 6 advance. You can scoot and shoot. No, this just isn't it. I don't think Custodians get to have fast units this edition. I'm sorry. Maybe they'll rebalance the points a little later in, but your slow stuff's good. Speaking of the fast stuff, Venatari, I know they got quite expensive. People were complaining about that. 235 points for 3. Oh, that is steep. I used to pay, I think, 165 for 3 of them. Do I have them on my desk? No, they're in a box somewhere. What do they got? So the pistol is, you only get 1 pistol, don't you? Yeah, you got a single pistol, sustained hit, 611, 2 shots each. That is so offensively bad. Then the Lance is 24-inch range. 412 is a bad profile, and it's assault. Is that just a normal Custodian spear? I think it is. Okay, so it used to be 622 on the Lance with 2 shots, whereas the melee was 632. Okay, so it's got the Lance. Oh, it does have the Lance keyword on the melee. That's nice. I don't think you take it still. Can shoot and charge when it fell back, and you can rapid ingress for 0 CP. Okay. 235 feels too expensive, but maybe there's a use for like a single squad of 3. I really like the model, so I think when I get around to playing some Custodies, I'll try and make it work. I like that the Buckler gives them 4 wounds, but I think when you combine it with this, it's just not. It's not it. Not for 235 points. Gilmore says, a lot of that's nice, but I won't take it for Custodies. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. But it's okay, because let me just remind you, we have the Achilles, and that's, I want 3. Please and thank you. We'll have to look at the Galatus as well. I think I did see that went up to 175 when I was skimming, so we will see there. Palace grab attack. Let's see. How are we paying for the Palace? It used to be 95 points when I took them back in 8th edition. 120 points. That's a lot. But is it a mission playing piece? Dev wounds, twin linked, 8 shots, strength 5 if you 1 damage. What does that kill? Not much. What's good about it? Moves 12, T8, 2 up, 5 up. I feel like it used to be a 3 up save, but I think I'm making that up. 9 wounds, obviously 2, +1 to wound against half strength. Like, I'd take this at 95, what it used to be, back the last time I ran them. I don't think I'd take it at 120, but that's a pretty good place for it to be, because there's room for them to rebalance the rules. If the data sheet seems okay. I really don't love this weapon. I'm sure it used to be a lot better than that. 8 shots while twin linked is pretty interesting, though. Not that I'm taking it, but I like that. Telemon. Let's have a look here. Only T10. This thing used to be the Slayer of my nightmares. No, the Slayer, my nightmare. I lost like I think the first round of Coventry 2 years ago when I was playing Orcs, and I shot my entire army into one and it just didn't die. Good old Shadow Keepers. So move 8 is fine. It's interesting that this is faster than the Aquilin. Not Aquilin. The Spear Dreadnought. Okay. 2 up save, 4 up in run. That's legitimately good. It has -1 damage. That I do like. 12 wounds, 4 OC. Right, before we even look at the weapons, how many points is this? Because 235. I don't hate that at 235. Like, I'm not blown away, but given how expensive dreadnoughts have got in general, this is kind of interesting. Melee is 5 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 12, AP 2, 3 damage. That's kind of sad. It's not bad. It's flat 3, but it used to be flat 3. I swear it used to be something like strength 16, AP 3, flat 4 damage, something along those lines. So you're taking this more for the tankiness. It's only T10 though. It's okay. The ranged weapons. It's got the storm cannon, which I don't think is good. The accelerator culverin. I'm super not there with not assault cannons, autocannons, and battle cannons. I think it is. Yeah, the 913 profile or the 1013. I'm not loving it. What else has it got? It's got the Spiculous bolt launcher that it just gets. Some anti-chaff shots. It's not the end of the world. Twin plasma projector. You get that with the fist. So it's a twin-linked flamer, strength 7 AP 2, 1 damage. Only D3 shots though. This feels like a miss to me. But I would take it if it was cheaper. So I don't hate where that is again. Oh yes, I love my grav tanks. I've got two of them. I used to love charging people with them because they are fast. They're a lot less fast than they used to be. I've lost 4 inches of movement. That is a little bit rough. T11 is about where they should be. 2 up save, 5 up invuln is quite nice. 14 wounds, 4 OC, and it gets lethal hits against monsters and vehicles with the heavy blaze. So the anti-tank gets lethal hits against monster and vehicles, and the anti-infantry gets lethal hits against everything else. Let's have a look here. So you can go. I've got the accelerator cannon. Let's have a look on. So 4 shots, rapid fire 4. So it's 8 shots at 24 inches range. That's pretty decent. 10-1-3. I still don't like that profile. Like, there's so much cover in the game, and I don't think Custodians have a good way to take it off. The bolt cannon's underneath, so that's just kind of a skew heavy bolter. More strength, less damage. Still got sustained hits. That's fine. Weird that it's called a twin bolt cannon, but it doesn't have twin linked. I'd like to know what they're doing with that. It is one of them. That feels like an error there. Just give me double shots or reroll wounds, please. And then the Arachnus Heavy Blaze Cannon. Of course, they've swapped which one's good. Twin linked, 4 shots, strength 12, AP3, 2d6 damage. Okay, so you've got 4 Bright Lancers on here that reroll wounds and hit on 2s. This is fucking cracked. Let's have a look here. 200. No, hold on. That's the transport. 215 points. That's about where it is right now. Yeah. Yeah. God damn it, Games Workshop. You've another edition where you've made people play fucking Forgeworld. Oh boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is good. Like, it's so slow now in comparison. It can't move walls. It's lost 4 inches of movement, but like you're still taking it. This is just like a semi-mobile tank that, yeah, absolutely fucking slaps. Okay, so the ground carrier, little faster, little tankier, quite a bit tankier actually. It's got the standard like Falcon or Razorback rule where you get reroll wounds on a target that if you disembark, shoot a target, everyone in this squad gets to reroll wounds against them. That's really nice, especially for Custodies. They've got a lot of sort of mid-strength attacks with decent AP and decent damage. Lots of like 7/22s as the profile. So this is a really nice rule because you can Slayer of Nightmares as well for +1 to wound. Yeah, I like this rule. How many points are we looking at? I think we just saw it was 200, right? 200 points. What's the transport? 8. This is a Land Raider. That's all this is. This is a flying Land Raider with a slightly different set of rules. Okay, this is interesting. And then weapon-wise, it just has 1 of each. This weapon I'm super underwhelmed by. This weapon I'm super underwhelmed by. But you take it for the transport. Okay. I like this. I could see you running. You could probably run 6 Wardens in here with an attached character. And then if you wanted to get cheeky, chuck in something else. Good. There's not really any lone operatives for Custodies. Maybe you just go like an unattached Blade Champion and be like, yeah, fuck you, I'm going to slap you in the face. Okay, that's good. The Assault Dropship. Assault Dropship. What are we looking at here? Orion Assaults. That's the Ares. 690 points. Okay, so this is unplayable then. It's as tanky as a knight. It has no OC. You can charge. Okay, so you can get out, then advance and charge. That's it's fine. It's not great. And then shooting wise, it's got. Okay, so it's got 2 blaze, 2 bolt. Okay, so it's just got 2 of each. Okay, so it does have 8 of these. It's not twin linked, but it does have 8 shots. I fucking better do. And then it's got 2d6 plus 12 shots at 712. That's not actually bad. Blast. And then the bolt cannon, which is again just weird. I guess 690 points. You can't play this. This is way too many points to invest into something that isn't actually that tanky. It's tanky, but model wounds say bye-bye. And I don't think 12 custody infantry and a transport. Oh no, 12 infantry or 6 in a transport. Nah, I can't see it. Ares gunship. This better not be 690. 580. All right, so it's still probably unplayably expensive. It does have guns though. 2 blaze, a magna blaze, and an armored hull. So the magna blaze is the big gun, obviously. 3 shots at 18, 4d6. That's a good gun. And then you've got these. You've got 8 shots at the like the semi bright lance. This is good, but it's just not 580 points good. And then you can turn off cover and do mortal wounds to something move over. I really dislike this rule on flyers in 10th edition because you've got to pivot at the end of your move. So if your opponent is awake, I think they just don't take it. Yeah, I don't love this. None of the points. I mean, the data sheet's fine. You could drop like 150 points off that, and then I'd be like, ooh, juicy. Galatus, I don't know why you're at the end, but you were 175 points. Why are you 175? +1 invuln. Oh, -1 to wound in melee. I mean, that's a very good rule. You just got to get there. How do you get there with a 6-inch move? The flamer isn't assault. That's a little bit sad. Ignores cover, torrent, twin linked. It's okay. I'm not excited about it, but it's okay. Interesting that it only explodes for 1. How's it in melee? 8 attacks at 823. Yeah, it does its job. It chops up melee, chops up infantry. Sorry. I'm a lot less excited about this one than I am the Shield Dread, but it's not bad. I quite like it. 175 points. I think there's a way you can just run 6 of them. I don't think you run the Venerable anymore at 185. That doesn't feel super worthwhile. But I think you could run, if you wanted to skew, you could look at a build with 6 Dreadnoughts and make something from that. Yeah, so Custodes, kind of a lot of misses in there, I think. The data sheets feel right, or like decent, but I think there's a lot of just the points aren't there. Okay, cool. I don't hate that. We have next up, because I'm going alphabetical just to make my life easier for the points, Adeptus Titanicus. Funnily enough, this is going to be real quick because only one of these is actually playable, and that is the Warlord Titan. Everything else is above 2,000 points. I don't think this is going to be good, but let's have a look. So, towering example, ignore detachment rules. So you don't get any detachment rules, and you select one model to be a warlord, even if it doesn't have character. Here we go. Titanic support. This is the thing we want. You can have one of the model even if you don't take it as your detachment. You can do the same for chaos. So Warhound, I'm going to look at the wounds. 40 wounds. It's fine. Reaver Titan, 60 wounds. I'd fucking hope so at 2,200 points. Oh wait, hold on. Warhound's the one that we can play. Let's look at the data sheet then. Let's have a look. So 14-inch move, T13. T13's really nice. There's a lot of anti-tank guns in the game that are like T12, strength 12. 2-up save is good. 5-up invuln against range attacks only. Come on, man. Just give us a proper invuln. Like 1,100 points. Just give us an invuln. 40 wounds, 6-up leadership, OC 16. This is fine. I don't think it's fine for the points, but this is fine. Explodes for 2d6. Excellent. Double the cost of the strats. So CP costs twice as much. I think that's entirely reasonable, although there's not many strats you'd be using on it. Maybe Overwatch every turn. Yeah, it's Overwatch every turn. It is towering. And it advances plus 8 inches. That's quite nice. Does it have any advanced guns? It does not. So you're never advancing this. Otherwise, you are using a paperweight to go 22 inches. That is so bad. 8 attacks in melee, 10-1-2. Step on me, daddy. But if I'm wearing Terminator armor, I don't care. Like, this is so underwhelming. I know it doesn't have a dedicated melee weapon, but like, come on, man. Give it something. It's 1,100 points. What do we got? So you can have 2 guns, can't you? You can just have any 2. Yeah, you can double up here. So we've got the Inferno gun, which is a flamer. This is a good gun, and I'd be super jazzed to see this on a normal knight profile, but 24-inch range is kind of funny because you can Overwatch 24 inches. 3d6 shots, 723. It's a great profile. Ignores cover. Again, it's a 1,100 point model. It should be killing at least 2 squads a turn. It only has 2 weapons, so it's hard to do more than that. Plasma blast gun, lots of shots, 2d6 plus 3, strength 9 AP3, 4 damage, or strength 10 AP3, 5 damage. I don't hate that actually. Blast hazardous, blast. Yeah, so like this is not worth the points, but these are pretty solid profiles. It just needs to be like 700 points or something. I wonder if I take it as like, is 700 points too cheap? 700 points might be too cheap. I haven't seriously thought about a model this size. It's very hard to pin it as to where it should be. I think I'd probably take this at 700 points. I don't even know if it would. Not in the current game. Laser Destructor. D3 plus 3 shots. Strength 20, AP3, 2d6 damage. This feels kind of underwhelming compared to the Plasma Blast gun. Oh, it is double the strength. That was the bit I was missing there. Yeah, it's fine. And then the Vulcan Mega Bolter. Sustained hits 1, 20 shots. This is a dog shit profile. Games Workshop, what have you done? Right. I'm gonna write you an 1,100 points Mega Bolter. So it's going to be 20 shots, rapid fire 20. straight away, we're just going into the ludicrous realms. 40-inch range is too much. Let's make it 36, so you've got to actually get close to use your rapid fire. Hitting on 3s is fine. Strength 6, I'm okay with strength 6. AP, make that 2. Damage 2 is fine as well. Sustained hits 2. If I'm taking this gun, I'm taking 2 of them. I'm walking up. I'm saying I've got 80 shots. I'm going to have 80 hits. And then we're going to roll some fucking dice, son. Can you make some saves? No, you can't. I have just killed 2 Primaris Balkan squads. Don't even care which ones. It could be any of them. And I've got my 1,100 points worth. This is to be hyperbolic. This is a disgrace. What a disgustingly poor profile. Cool. And that is the one time I'm going to talk about Titanic units for 10th edition. You've seen it now. All right. So after that one, we have got everyone's favorite, Eldari. I've looked at the Wraithseer because I love them, and I've looked at the Shadow Spectres. So let's have a look here. Wraithseer, I was kind of a little underwhelmed by. No one's going to cry any tears for me. I want to run the good Wraith units, and I'm okay if that doesn't include the Wraith Knight, by the way. Just, I want to run loads of Wraith boys of small and medium sizes, and I want them to be solid. He is solid, to be fair, but you compare him to the rest of the other book, you're like, it's okay. So stat line is the same. He has an inbuilt invuln save, which is quite nice. The difference is he has a melee weapon, which you can take anywhere on the normal Wraith Lord. He has a flamer as well, destructor, sorry. And then he can only get one weapon. So you can't give him the double Bright Lance. And instead of having the rule where he farms fate dice when he kills things, he gives battle shock tests. So that's worse. I don't hate this, actually. This is fine, but it is worse. Having the strength 5 AP 1/1 damage flamer is kind of cute, though. I do enjoy that. So instead of taking a Bright Lance, which you could take 2 on the Wraith Lord, you can instead take a D cannon, and this is the worst D cannon we've seen. I'm not complaining. I think this is probably what they should change the profile of like the support weapon D cannon to. I don't really know why it's only D6 damage when everything else is D6 plus 2. It's not a problem. Like you're more than welcome to nerf them down to that, but it just feels a little odd. The melee, it has psychic and it has precision. That's the main thing. You can't sweep precision, which I guess makes sense thematically. But yeah, a little underwhelmed by these. I love them quite a lot, and it doesn't really do it for me. Obviously, you can attach a Spirit Seer. I feel like I'd just run a Wraith Lord instead, but maybe there's a world where I run 6 Wraith Lords and Wraith Seers. Revenant Titan. Are we in Clown World? How many points are these? 1,100 points. So it's got 10 wounds less. It has a +1 to its invuln. It's got more movement. Otherwise, it's pretty similar to the Warlord Titan, Warhound Titan. It has fallback, advance, yada yada, costable. You can advance 8 inches. So basically, this is just a Warhound Titan, but worse here. And it has assault weapons. The pulsars are assault. So if you change the weapons, you can't assault and shoot. Advance and shoot. Neat. Weirdly better in melee. It's damage 3 instead of damage 2. Get fucked, Imperium. We're Eldar. We do better shit. What has it got? Does it just have the missile launcher? Okay, so it just straight up has 2-6 shots, 822 blast. That's fine. That's an okay profile, but not for an 1,100 point model. The pulsar, 6 shots, 14-3-4. I don't hate it. That feels about right for a night weapon. You can take 2 of them, 12 shots. And then the Sonic Lance, anti-monster, anti-vehicle, 4+ assault and torrent. Okay, so this is kind of an anti-everything flamer. I don't hate that. If this wasn't 1,100 points, or if I could take that weapon on a reasonably costed model, I 100% would be running this. It wounds everything in the game on a 4+ or better, basically. No, basically, just everything in the game is wounded on a 4+ or better. That's pretty neat. 832 is a really nice profile. D6 plus 6, you get 2 of them. 2d6 plus 12, you just fucking melt something in Overwatch. Not taking that 1,100 points, though. Phantom Titan. What level of silliness are we here? 2,100 points. And you can't play it in competitive, so off you go. Cobra, 415 points. God damn. Have they pointed these correctly? Is that what we're seeing here? That seems unlikely. So it's fast. It's reasonably tanky. 2 up, 5 up, 24 wounds. So it's a knight, effectively. OC 8 is nice. De-rift after you shot with the de-impaler. Do additional mortal wounds. And they splash. Okay, that's not awful. And it has the de-impaler and 1 bright lance, basically, then. So what does the de-impaler do? Blast devastating wounds, d6 plus 3 shots, 16 for 4. That's not a bad profile. Is it 415 points? No, I just take 3 fire prisms and have some points left over. But yeah, this is just hindered by points. Even in a normal index, I don't think I'd be taking this. 415 feels kind of steep, although it's kind of tanky. I know the Eldar Knights, sorry, the Eldar Grav tanks are just kind of massive, so I don't think there's any way you hide this as well. Yeah, I don't think you need to go down this route. I think there's lots of stuff they can take. Scorpions. Scorpions. What do we got? Same stat line. Cool. What's it got instead? The Pulsar, 6 shots, 1835 with twin link. That's kind of cool. And it explodes on a 4+. If you shoot something, it explodes on a 4+ instead of a 6+. Okay, how many points is this? What's it called? The Scorpion. 410. So it's still really expensive. I do like this profile. 6 shots at strength 18. So wound everything on 3s or maybe 2s if you're shooting at rhinos. But Lord help that fucking rhino. Yeah, that just kind of slaps, though. That just wounds everything. If you hit, things are dying. It's kind of cool. It's not 410 points, though. Nightwing. This is a plane. +1 hit against fly units. And it's got Twin Bright Lance, 12 Shuriken. You can't change it out. Ugh. I mean, even just the... You're never going to use your reroll that you get from your faction bonus. That kind of doesn't feel great. I guess they can write new detachments, but what's it got? Nightwing. How many points is this? This better be cheap. 150. Nah, that's not cheap enough. There's other planes that you could run, and I don't think you run any planes as Eldar. They just don't feel particularly good. Even though they have towering. I'm not paying for that. Warp Hunter. This is another one of the grav tanks. Devastating assault. So causes battle shock tests for things you hit. To one thing you hit. Okay, that's fine. And I guess it's a shuriken catapult or a shuriken cannon, so you always take the cannon. What's it got then? Deflail. Choose one. It's blast, devastating wounds, 24-inch range, D3 shots, 12 for 3. And then it has a 12-inch flamer, which is the same. I am not in love with this profile. It's so low shots. Like for this price point, I'd expect like a D3 plus 3. I'm happy to have them printed another source of like disgusting dev wounds, but I think you'd want like D3 plus 3. Let me just have a look at how many points this is. Warp Hunter. Oh god, this is 130 points. Never mind. Oh no, I thought it was one of the big 24 wound models. Oh shit, 130 points for this. That's you know what's wild? I actually don't think you take it. Like fire prisms are so much better than this. I'd take a night spinner over this. I'd take 2 night spinners over these. At 130 points, I'm more impressed though, but I'm still not taking it. I don't think 24-inch range as well. You don't particularly want to be getting super close with these things. Links. Let's look at the points first, so I don't have the same. So 155 points for links. Okay, so it's a bit quite expensive by Eldar tank costs. It is a 3-up save and a 5-up. Was this one a 3-up save? Okay. Oh, it didn't have an invuln. Okay, so the links has an invuln. That's quite nice of a fire prism. It's not 30 points. Nice. 16 wounds though. This thing kind of thick. Speed of vol, you don't roll an advance, you move 9 inches. Okay, does it have assault weapons? It's got the Lynx Pulsar, which is assault. And then it's just got like a single weapon. Okay, so the main weapon is assault, so you could advance, move 21 inches and shoot this. That's kind of It's kind of rude. How many does it have? 1 Lynx pulsar. Okay. So it is 48-inch range, 4 shots, hitting on 3s, strength 16, AP3, D6 damage. Okay. Okay. That's pretty good. Like the profile, it's not D6 plus 2 like a Bright Lance, which sucks, but it is strength 16, which really does make a difference sometimes. I don't mind it on the Bright Lance because you're using the reroll, so you're wounding everything in the game on 4s most of the time. You can use your single reroll there. Strength 16 is pretty. This is really good. 4 shots here. Like you're realistically getting at least 3 of them through with your reroll. It's assault. I thought it was twin link for some reason, but you're still probably getting all 3 of them through if you're wounding things in the game on 2s and 3s, and then you're re-rolling. Like you're forcing your opponent to make 3 saves probably, with a fate die in there to really just seal the deal. Yeah, this thing's not bad. And then the D6 damage doesn't matter as much as well, because if you need to, you can save the fate dice, save a fate dice. Okay, that's pretty neat. It is massive though, so I don't know if you see it just because of the size. It's very hard to hide in it. It's tanky, but it's still not tanky. Maybe there's a list where you just take all fucking grav tanks when the Wraith Knight gets nerfed. Maybe that's the world we live in, because they are pretty good. Hornet, 80 points. That is cheap. What does it do? 14-inch move. So it's fast, T7, so it is made out of paper. 8 wounds, OC2, 3-up save. That's not actually that made out of paper. This is like a Viper, but just a little bit tankier, right? Yeah, I think it's a little tankier than a Viper. Vipers are 75 points, I'm pretty sure, because I've been looking at putting them in my list. Yeah, 75 points for a Viper. It doesn't have the rule where you strip off cover for a single unit. Instead, it can do multiple wounds as you move over things. I don't like that rule. Gaw'dam says this army is spoiled yet. Yeah, I'm definitely evaluating them compared to the other things in the index. This is definitely opening up some more depth to the Eldar index. So if the first choice gets nerfed, if the fire prisms go up to 165, I go, yeah, I'm absolutely looking at taking the Lynx. Is it the Lynx I was just looking at? Yeah. Lynx, I think the Lynx is very good. I think it's just with the model size and how good fire prisms are, I think it's difficult to go for it. Okay, so what's the Hornet got? So it's got 2 pulse lasers, and you can change them for. Oh, hey, the best the best gun in the book. Neat. Let's have a look at the pulse laser first. What does it do? So each one gets 2 shots, strength 9, AP2, D3 damage. Okay, so you change them every day of the week. So this is basically a Viper. For 5 points more than a Viper, you get a second Bright Lance. That's not reasonable. That is unfair. Like, the Viper's very good. This is just... How big is a Hornet? Let's see if I can quickly see what size. Okay, so they're 5.5 inches long. What did I do with my tape measure? Oh, I left it over behind me. Okay, so 5.5 inches long and 4.5 inches wide. That's not small. It's not huge, but it is kind of. And Vipers are very small. Oh God, I think you just put 3 of these in your list, right? Like, if you're not relying on Wraith Knights, which so for the league that we're playing, I don't think I'll be using a Wraith Knight because we've deliberately nerfed it down to so it's not just the 2 other players meet in the final. Because what's the fucking point? You need to take more anti-tank. Just having 2 Bright Lancers is honestly pretty fucking good. Oh no. Time to get some Hornets, I guess. They are very nice models. I don't feel too upset about that. Yeah. Okay, cool. 3 Hornets on my shopping list. There's 240 points. I don't know how the fuck I meant to fit them in. So this is a data sheet I have looked at. These things are unreal. So these are basically what are the Drakari equivalent of these with the guns? Someone can chuck it in the chat. They're My mind's gone blank. Anyway, they have the same fire and fade as the Drakari Scourges. There we go. So Scourges, they've got the same fire and fade. They've got a slightly worse gun, but honestly not that much worse, because you've got super cheap sort of of bright lances in the list, like Hornets. We've just seen them. This is a really versatile gun. This thing likes shooting into Terminators. If you can make them Armor of Contempt, you're pretty happy about it. They're 80 points for 5. That's really fucking good. Like this is, I think this is my pick for the best unit in the Forgeworld data sheets, unless there's something that I haven't looked at yet. Actually, I have looked at the Wraith Knight, but yeah, man, these things are just nutty. So you can take 5, or you can take 10, or you can take 6, or you can take 11. How are the points going? Yeah, so you can literally take 5, 10, 6, or 11. I think you just take 5. I don't think the Exarch brings anything other than like an ablative wound, and he's not worth the points premium. Just take a second squad with more guns in. They're so good. I will go down to Ilrith as well. Ilrith is 105 points. I did look at him as well. He gives +1 to hit, and then his gun is quite good as well. 3 shots, strength 8, -2 damage, -2 AP, 4 damage, and then he forces battle shock. For 105 points, you can take another squad of Shadow Spectres. So just do that, which is a shame, because I really like the Phoenix Lord dynamic they've got, even though I think a lot of their rules are kind of underwhelming. Finally, the Skatach Wraith Knight. So my eyes initially went to here, and I was like, this is just worse than a Wraith Knight. It does have Deep Strike. It loses -1 damage, but it gains once per game. It can go into reserves at the end of your opponent's turn and then come back in your turn. I think you've got to walk on from the board edge, so that's whatever. However, you can just give it 2 of the Infernal Lancers, which I think is disgustingly good. If you can, because you can come on from reserve, keep in mind, 9 inches away, which is within melter range. Come in between 12 and 9 inches away from your opponent. You've got 8 shots, because you've got 2 of them. Hitting on 3s, but you've got a reroll in there. Strength 12, AP -4, D6 +2 damage. I don't think you need to play this, because Eldar have such good efficiency at killing vehicles, but I also just think that's upsetting to see. You could probably also just walk it up the board, especially if you've got a Farseer attached. It's pretty good. It's not bad. It's 385 points. It's more than the Wraith Knight. So you don't see it until the Wraith Knight gets put in the bin, and at which point I'm not convinced you see it. I know the Melter's really good. 8 shots at Melter at strength 12 is really nice, but I think Eldar have other cheap sources of anti-tank. Bright Lancers, basically. This is just 8 Bright Lancers if you get close enough, which is good, but you could take the equivalent quite handily, have it spread out, play the mission better with it. I'm not in love with this unit, which is a shame, because they look really cool. So Eldar. Eldar not looking too unreasonable, apart from the Hornet and the Lynx and the Shadow Spectres. So there's 3 units in there that are pretty disgusting. A little disappointing the Wraiths here, but world's tiniest violin, hey? All right, so now we're on to fucking Guard, and I am not enthused about this, because they are so big. They've got 2 whole indexes. Why have they got 2 whole indexes? Like, what is going on with that? I think it's this one first. There's no reason for them to have 2. You've just removed like half the models in the fucking game for Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines. Why didn't you just like thin these down where they were duplicates? Because my god, there are duplicates. So we've got 58 pages in these 2 PDFs. I'm gonna go quick. Like, we're gonna stop at the things that have immediately caught my eye. So Flyer, it's kind of thick, 14 wounds. It's cool. What's its rule? It can shoot back at something that flies when it destroys a model nearby. Cool, whatever. What's it got? A bolt cannon, which is not bad, but it's not good. 10 shots, hitting on 4, strength 6, AP 1, 2 damage is very whatever. So we can skip this one. Force pattern lightning. I'm not going to look at the points for all of these. If they're super cheap, things that I'm underwhelmed by are going to be good. But like, let's just quickly, 130 points and one. Oh god, is 130 points good for that? I don't think so, because you can't play the mission with it. Yeah, I'm not impressed by those. Lightwing has some anti-flyer missiles and las cannons, -1 to hit against it. Again, I don't care. Heavy fighter, +1 hit against fly units, and then it's got the anti-fly, the nose cannons. This might actually be good. Let's have a look at the Thunder Bolt Heavy Flyer. 190 points. It is T10, 15 wounds, which for a flyer with a 3-up save is not. It's not awful. But I'm whelmed. Guard have ways to kill you without moving. Oh yeah. Also, they never get the rules on their faction detachment because you have to stand still for them. I guess you hover them, but yeah, this ain't it. This I did see this Gatling cannon. It made me just really actually sad. 18 shots, sustained hits 1, strength 5, AP 0, 1 damage. It's just. I'm sure there is a time where this is it. Right now, this is not it. Get these fucking bombers out of my face. Do bombs as you move over. Cool. It's a bomber. Destroyer. It's also a bomber. And it's got some guns. Just get me out of the flyers. Flyers is just not where I want to be. Tarantula battery. No movement. You can still charge with it because fix your game. Las cannons and heavy bolters. How many points are tarantulas? Let's have a look. 35 points a model. Oh dear, that might be cheap enough to be worthwhile. Because they are ballistic skill 4, and they no longer have to shoot at the closest model. It's probably not it for a single las cannon. I feel like Guard can bring things that are better than that. But is this the cheapest? I don't know. Is this the cheapest unit that you can put in strat reserve, bring on across the board, and do an action? Because if it is, that's very funny. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. If it was, sorry. Rapier Destroyer. How are we pointing these fuckers up? 30 points a model. Okay, I'm immediately wrong. The Rapier Destroyer is cheaper. And it can move, so it can actually do things after you've dumped it in. 2 shots, strength 12, AP 2d6 plus 1 damage. So it's basically just 2 las cannon shots. They hit on 5s. Twin linked is nice. Heavy is nice. Ballistic skill 5 is not nice. Elo also says free Overwatch doesn't seem bad. That's true. That is true. And you can do it even though you've already used it. So that might actually be a reason to take it. I don't think we're going to see a meta where people are willing to stand out in the open with stuff that you want to shoot these weapons at. Even let's say you take 3 of them, you're only getting 1.5 hits from the heavy bolters if you take a full squad of 3. I don't know. Maybe they're going to give them fake dice, but it's good for making your opponents sweat. Maybe it's a good tactical piece for like mid tables where people don't necessarily understand the math super well. I did notice this rule earlier, powerful volley. So when it's affected by an order and remains stationary, it gets lethal hits. It has that already if it stands still. It's a fucking guard model. 6s to hit auto wound. I know that there will be other detachments, but why have you written this rule for the first detachment? This makes no sense at all. Like, not only is it be affected by order and remain stationary and juggle on a unicycle, you've got to jump through hoops to get there. It's a buff that you already get for remaining stationary. Get out of here. But maybe take 1 and put it in reserve and do actions when it comes in. That might be something that's funny to do. I also don't hate the profile. Although this is really sad. Ballistic skill 5. Breaching drill. I did see this. Someone had mentioned to me that you can just attach, I think, a 27-man squad. I haven't looked at Guard super deeply. I will be, because I think I'm going to be doing the index rules for the channel. But yeah, this is you can deep strike a squad with it basically. So that's what you're paying for. You're paying to deep strike a squad, and then everything else on there is kind of whatever. Hades breaching drill. It's 110 points. That is expensive, but you can deep strike the 27-man brick or whatever it is with all the defensive strats that just be so frustrating to deal with. I don't necessarily think it's good, but it is a funny meme unit. Trojan support vehicle. It has fairly meaningless shooting. Excellent. And it's a tech priest. Cool. It's just an engine seer. So if you wanted to take more engine seers to buff things, you can. It is Trojan. 80 points. I don't know that I love that. Although, like, maybe if you're just trying to overwhelm your opponent with like, pure weight of chassis, I still don't think you take it. But it's there. It's 80 points. So we've gone through the first index. Let's get to the more interesting ones. Deathcore Marshal. We have got gives a unit a feel no pain of a 5+. God damn it, Games Workshop, why have you fucking printed this rule? I'm going to be so annoyed this edition we have to play against anyone with Deathcore models. 60 points as well. It's just good. You can give it Insane Bravery for 0 CP. It's just good. Does an order. Let's have a quick look how he compares to the cost of regular officers. So Acadian Castellan 50 points. So he's 10 points more. I think the rules that he brings, i.e. 5 up Feel No Pain, super worthwhile. Existence, you did Myths Custodies. They were the first thing I did. We will be getting onto Knights. Chaos Knights will be next. And then Imperial Knights will be 3 or 4 down the line. I'm going alphabetical for this one. Good to have you with us as well. So, yeah, this Marshal, he looks pretty solid. I think I can see him in units. He can join Death Corps and infantry squads. I think he's just going to be obnoxious in those, but I think that's fine. I think it's good for Guard to have obnoxious infantry because they're pretty underwhelming infantry-wise otherwise. Death Riders, they have the usual scouting move, and they, oh god, look what they did to my boy. Look what they did to my boy. So you've got 3 attacks in melee, hitting on 3s, which is good for Guard. Strength 4, AP 1, 1 damage lance. Neat. They've got fucking melter rockets strapped to the lancers, I'm pretty sure. This just ain't it. Sure, maybe they're a super cheap screening unit. What are they costed at? 70 points for 5. I don't hate that. I'm very disappointed with what they did with them for melee, but there's a world that you take these and you don't feel bad about it, and then you send them off to skirmish. It's just you look at them from how they were last edition, and you get a little sad. Yeah, 5 to 10 models, standard squadron commander. Okay, so this is an officer to go in them. They get infiltrators. That's quite nice. What keywords do they have? I missed those. They had no keywords. That's why I missed it. So they have infiltrators, and they get devastating wounds. Cool. Low number of attacks and single damage with no rerolls. I'm not super enthused, I will say. I didn't take into account the Savage Claws on their horses because horses have claws. I think they are probably a legitimately good skirmisher unit. It's just a little sad to see these hunting lancers. How many points does this fucker cost? 60 points as well. So the same as the one on foot. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like this maybe makes the squad too expensive, so you probably don't go for it. But I don't mind the actual Death Corps riders. Carnodon. Looking at the stats, this is a big tank. How many points is it? I don't actually know which models correlate with the names for the Guard models because there's so fucking many tanks. 160 points. Okay, so this is a mid-sized tank. This is a Lehman Russ, so it's slightly squishier, slightly faster, I think. 2 up save is nice. 12 wounds. If you shoot at your opponent's deployment zone, reroll hits of 1 and wounds of 1. Please don't be indirect fire. Please, God, don't be indirect fire. So it's got autocannons. Okay, it probably isn't. It can have autocannons. It can have las cannons. Volkite. Okay. Volkite. How much Volkite can you give it? So you could have 8 shots with rerolls to wound, reroll 1s to wound. Okay, I'm not super bothered by this thing. This looks like an okay tank profile. I think you don't take it because it's T11, and I think the Lehman Russ T10, Lehman Russ T11. I'm not. Yeah, this seems fine for the points. I don't think it's super competitive. I don't think it's bad, which is a reasonable place to be. Demo vehicle explodes if you get near. I love these things. So within 3 inches, it's 2 to 5 D3 mortal wounds on a 6 is D6. It's fine, and it explodes on a 4+ and does 1 mortal wound to everything around it if you kill it instead. And it can get into transport, but it takes up 7 slots. That is quite a lot. Cyclops, 25 points for this thing. Okay, I kind of like this. I wonder if you do you just load these up in transports and run them at your opponent? You can only take 3. Okay, so the meme is probably dead. I was thinking like how many can you put in a Shadow Sword or whatever the big transport one is? Stormlord, I think it is. Interesting. I don't hate this at 25 points. I don't know that I ever run it because this is fun jank. It's not particularly useful. Alternatively, it might be put it in reserve, do actions, and then if your opponent's unlucky enough to be playing word bearers, world eaters, and they have to deal with it in melee, then you just go, ha ha, I'm exploding. Yeah, 25 points. That's kind of cute. Malkador. All right, Malkador, how many points are you? 250 points. Okay, so this is between the Lehman Russ and the Baneblade size, which kind of tracks. 18 wounds, T11, 2 up save. This is fine. 250 points. 250 points is a weird points cost for a tank. Let me just have a quick look at the Rogel Dawn. How many points were you? 285. Okay, so this is a comparable tank to the Rogel Dawn. What does it have? The battle cannon. It's that 913 profile again. I really don't like it. It is pretty tanky. So it has basically perma armor of contempt, which is not bad. Shooting only, but just keep it back. What guns does it have? Battle cannon, heavy bolter, autocannons. You can give it a las cannon instead. Okay, so you can have 3 las cannons, a hunter killer, a heavy stubber, 250 points. That's not actually significantly more than a Lehman Russ, is it? I think they got super expensive. We're talking like a 180, 200 points for a Lehman Russ. Oh, okay. Maybe you look at these. Like, nothing on here is blowing me away, but it just feels like it's going to sit in your back lines. It's going to be really hard to kill with this armor of contempt. Yeah, I'm not super up to date on guard. I'm going to be honest. Even in 9th edition, I'm not super up to date on guard. I don't know all their Forgeworld units well, or their real like tanks. Honestly, I looked at how expensive they were, and I was kind of like, yeah, points wise that is. But yeah, I'm kind of okay in the Malkador. In fact, let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick look together. Malkador tank. Let's share this tab instead. How does it look? It is. Let's find a good head on. That's fine. I'd forgotten that the Forgeworld stuff is very World War II enthusiast for, in your war game. It's okay. If it looked cooler, I'd give it a higher rating. I give this a neat out of 5. Malkador Annihilator. So we've seen the basics here. They ignore cover within half range. Okay. So this is going to be Demolish a Cannon. There we go. Demolish a Cannon and a las cannon. How many points is this thing? Annihilator. 270, so it's 20 points more. Maybe this is good. This is approaching Rogel Dawn point level. And it's not actually that tanky. It's quite tanky, but there's no invuln. It's only T11. 18 wounds is good. I don't know. You're going to have to weigh up the efficiency per point. I'm not seeing anything here that blows me away. And again, it's got the usual. It can take the las cannons. Does it have a las cannon already? Twin las cannon. It's yeah, slightly more firepower, but you've got to get closer. Defender, you can overwatch on a 5+. That makes me interested. 310 points. That makes me not interested. It's got the same stat line. You've got to get close. What has it got? Demolish Cannon, 7 heavy bolters? Okay. I see you, Games Workshop. This is something. Now you're fucking talking my language. So you can replace 2 of the heavy bolters with autocannons and las cannons, hunter killer missile, and it can take a heavy stubber. I think you might just take the heavy bolters and you just drive it forwards. And you say, "How dare you walk into me?" Because 7 heavy bolters, where you're looking at 3.5 hits, which becomes 7 hits. It's cheeky. It's definitely cheeky. It's not 310 points cheeky, but it is an overwhelming amount of heavy bolters. I'd be interested to see how this one goes. I'm not running it, but someone should. Infernus, 235 points. Okay, so this is the cheapest of all the chassis. It explodes on a 3+. Oh no, sorry, on a 3+, you shoot instead of exploding. Oh no, it's not instead of. Okay, so it's just an additional. So you roll to see if it shoots, you roll to see if it explodes. Both of those go off in whichever order. I don't care to find out which. I don't think it matters. Inferno gun. It has got a big flamer. Ignores cover. Strength 5, AP 2 damage. So 1 less strength than the Redeemer. D6 plus 3 shots. That's a pretty good flamer. I don't hate that. At 235 points, I'm not taking it just for the flamer, but it's kind of cute. And it fires on death. What can it have? It's got 2 heavy stuffers, which can become 2 heavy flamers. Hello. Do I take this as an Overwatch piece? Honestly, maybe. Probably not at 235 points, right? It's expensive. I guess we'll have to see what state the game is once Dev Wounds and all the other jank gets sorted. Maybe 235 points for a tank like this, once everything gets rebalanced, becomes kind of cool. Because I'm not expecting them to tweak guard tank points up, apart from the indirect. Please fucking move the indirect. Yeah, no, I like this. This is very cool. I don't know if it's good, but it's very cool, and I can see a niche for it. Sorry, I keep hitting the microphone. I can see a niche for it. I can see a reason that I'd want to run it. It's got lots of flamers on it. Earthshaker. So these I think are about 70% or 80% of the cost of the normal ones. So we're talking 70 points. That is very cheap, and I do not like that. So it's regiment. I'm pretty sure that means it can get orders. And it is ballistic skill 5, and then it's got an Earthshaker cannon. This is concerning because it's very, very cheap. And the reason it's concerning is guard obviously do good indirect. I'm wondering if this actually just means that you can put an overwhelming amount of indirect in the 500 points you take as your GSE list. I don't know if that skews it, because you can fit, you could probably fit 3 tanks, 3 non-line of sight. No, you could fit 4 of these carriage batteries and then 2 tanks. That's only +1. Okay. Maybe not for GSE, because I don't think they get orders. Existence says, nice bait by Games Workshop. The model is not very cheap at 100 points for these carriages. Yeah. They are. Forgeworld is expensive. I will say it's probably one of the easier ones to convert. If you have a Basilisk, you have a bit of kit bashing skill, you could model one of those up pretty handily, I think. Or you could make your own. Medusa carriage battery, same shit here. Oh, what rule did it have? -2 from move, advance, and charge. Like, okay, sidebar here. Games Workshop, please stop writing subtract 2 from move and advance and charge. Like, that is such an unreasonable amount of movement to remove from something in an edition where you've kind of made things a lot slower. Melee is really suffering, and that's like, I'm kind of okay with that, but not to this extent. This is unreal. -4 inches from an advance roll is so painful. Like, if you get hit by this, you probably don't advance because you're not more likely, but the chance of just going nowhere at all is sad. Okay, you do advance, but you're just really sad if you're on a 1. Okay, Medusa forces battle shock. That makes loads of sense thematically. Thematically, good job, Games Workshop. But then it is still hitting on 5s, 10 through 3. Medusa. It's a Medusa. It's cheap. What's it looking at? I'd say 85, 65. Oh, cool. It's cheaper. I guess it's less shots, but fuck, man. They just need to fix indirect. For our league, we're going to be playing it with 9th edition indirect nerfs, -1 ballistic skill and -1 AP. I think that kind of solves the issue. So we'll see if they go with something like that for the rules when they come out soon. Stormblade. What are we talking here? We're talking a Baneblade chassis, T13, 24 wounds, OC8. Existence says the Medusa for 85 is an auto take for that damage profile. The only reason it wouldn't be is if the Medusa is even cheap. Is a comparable price point. Wait, does the Medusa not exist? Have I just imagined a Medusa? I'm sure there's a guard tank called the Medusa. Oh, right, now I'm looking. You can look with me. Illiwazzle says guard points don't make a lot of sense to me. I'm going to leave that on the screen because you and me both. They are pretty interesting. The indirect is cheap, and the direct stuff is not cheap. And then they've written a detachment where you get lethal hits for standing still. Not a huge fan. Manticore. I guess Manticore is like the closest. I don't care enough to look. 65 points to 105 points. Yeah, no. Existence, maybe you're right. Maybe you do just auto-take them. Yeah. Get making those Medusa. God, I hate indirect so much. Please, but take it out of the game. I'm going to use it if it's good, by the way. But, I want it to be bad. The same as planes and the same as towering. Towering, well, knights are okay, just don't make towering a thing. So back to the Stormblade. Movement 9 is super weird. I can't remember what normal Baneblade moves, so I'm going to assume it's the same. You can reroll hits with the plasma blast gun against half range units. That seems good because ballistic skill is pretty bad for guard in general. So it's D6 3 plus sheets, D6 plus 3 shots, strength 9 AP 2 flat 3 damage, or strength 10 AP 3 flat 4 damage hazardous. Blast on those. I am quite liking the change to hazardous for vehicles like this. It used to be that you felt kind of scared to overcharge your guns when you were rolling a lot of shots. Now you just roll one, you go, oh, I rolled a one. Oh no, I've lost what? An eighth of my wounds. Oh well. Yeah, this seems fine. What's it pointed at? I know the Forgeworld. In fact, let's have a look at Baneblade. A Baneblade is 540 points. That is unreasonably expensive. Games Workshop, please. What is the Stormblade? Oh, let's go back to the actual rules I'm talking about instead of the points, because the points are not interesting. Stormblade, 415 points. That's way cheaper. I might be tempted to take a Baneblade equivalent at around 400 points. That's kind of interesting. Existence also says that you mean the carriage rather than the other over the Earthshaker. Carriage is a bigger ass model, so you'll struggle to hide all three on most boats. That's very true. I wonder if there's a point where you just take as much indirect as possible as guard and you deploy some of it in the open. You go, you're going to shoot some of it, but if I go first, get fucked. Yeah. All right. Macarius. This is a sort of semi-Baneblade. T13, only 20 wounds. If you control an objective marker and you're within range of it, reroll a hit of 1. That's good. Again, it's got the battle cannon. I'm not loving this AP -1 profile. I'm really not loving it. The points are going to make or break this for me. Macarius, 310. It's maybe a little expensive because we're getting towards the. It's T13 though. Okay, I don't love this variant, but I know there are two other variants. So the Vanquisher is a single shot that rerolls hits against monster and vehicles. I know it's reroll a hit and a wound, but it's 4s and then 3s. I just can't trust like that. If you're heavy hitting on 3s and 3s, the Vanquisher better be cheap. 285. I still don't love it. What's the third one? I know there's a third. The Vulcan is 310 points. This is going to be a Mega Bolter. 16 shots, sustained hit 1, 612, and it doesn't suffer the hit penalty for being within engagement range while shooting. Yeah, I still don't love it. But they're not transports. I don't really see the place for them. Like, unless someone's going to sit down and do the maths, like, and this is the most efficient points per wound and shooting as well. Like, nothing super jumps out at me there without comparing it directly to. Stormblade has much less guns than a Baneblade, much more comparable to a Storm Shadow. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'll be honest, I'm kind of just lumping them in chassis size. Praetor. Okay, what the fuck is a Praetor? Oh, Games Workshop, why are you doing this to me? Praetor Guard, 40k. Oh, it's trying to get me to put in Praetorian Guard. It is, obviously, it's a tank. Oh, okay. So it's the super... It's got the big assault launcher on the back. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Let's have a look here. Yeah, Elo, let's put pictures on data sheets except for Forgeworld models that no one's seen before. I know most of them. Like, Guard is super my weakness, and it's unfortunate that there's about 60 pages for the Guard. And it's really hard to contextualize what you're talking about without seeing the picture, honestly. Like, you're looking at the stats, you're like, okay, because we've moved away from the 9th edition where we go, you have your T7 vehicles with about 10 wounds, you have your T8 vehicles with about, 24 wounds or whatever, and it's very easy to pigeonhole them in. It's a little odd to talk about. Okay, so it's an indirect with 2+ armor save, and there's no penalty for the hit roll. Neat. Big fan of this. I bet it ignores cover. Oh, hey, it ignores cover. Cool. So the Praetor is an exorcist, basically. Is it good? Anti-vehicle, blast heavy, anti-monster, indirect fire. So that's cute. You get to choose as well. Yeah, Elon also says kind of a cool model. I absolutely agree. It is a cool model. It's very tactical, I would say. But Praetor, is this comparable to the Sisters Exorcist? How many points are we talking? Praetor, 225 points a model. I am not taking that. I'm taking 2 basilisks and having some change. That's a shame because this is very, very good. It's interesting that you're just wounding vehicles and monsters on a 4, and it's AP2 flat through damage with D6 plus 1 shots. I like that. That's quite a cool design space. Blast, so being only strength 4, it's actually not that great into Terminators. You're winning on 5s. I don't know. It's neat. It's super overcosted, though. Oh, fucking what's a Crassus? Existence says you're paying for the tough profile. You absolutely are. It's indirect. I don't want to be playing for the tough profile, but maybe you do that as guard now because there's so much indirect you want to take. It gets a big ass rocket launcher in the back because it's the same as the transport. I'm assuming the Crassus is the transport then. Hey, it's the transport. 35 models. Oh, can take up 3. Can't do. Okay, interesting. It doesn't have a shooting deck. But you can disembark and shoot. I don't love that for guard. Maybe there's a way of abusing that, but I'm not seeing it immediately. Yeah, fine. Let's have a look at the points. Crassus, 180 points. That's not awful for that much transport, but I don't know that I ever want to transport that much guard. Maybe I do. Colossus, I'm assuming is no. This is very different. So 130 points for the Colossus. We have got tougher than a rhino. It's not a bad place to start for 130 points. It is anti-monster 5+ and anti-vehicle 5+. Weird 5+. Does it have dev wounds? It does have dev wounds. Okay. Oh, and it's only strength 6. Interesting. And 130 points. So blast D6 shots. So it's immediately probably not great. On the D6 shots is squadron. Strength 6 AP1 D6 plus 2 damage. That's kind of cool. Maybe you can fish for some dev wounds with it. I like this one. I don't know if it's going to end up being efficient, but I'd be very tempted to. Oh, it's not indirect. I like this less. I think it's okay for 130 points. I think there's just better stuff you can take. Please be near the end. Baldor. This is a big boy. 285 points. That seems pretty on par for what it's paying. And it's got a neutron laser. Reroll the damage roll against monster vehicles for all its guns, and it's D6 plus 1. So 2 shots, hitting on 4s, hitting on 3s if you stay still. Strength 16, AP 4, D6 plus 1 damage. Like, my man, you're paying 285 points. I could just take a fire prism and have comparable shooting for 125 with rerolls to hit and flat damage. Oh god, you are paying for the rest of the stats, but I can't see it. Yeah, okay. Existence says, why is the Colossus not indirect? Cough, cough. I don't know, but thank fuck, basically. Just the less indirects they print for that guard, the less. Because what's going to happen is they're going to nerf the stuff that's really good right now. And then people go, oh, this profile that's like 130 points, this is now the next best thing. And then people run that, and then they'll nerf that. So the less tiers of good indirect that they can fall through, the better. Guard. Don't really know what to think about guard. There wasn't much in there that really blew me away. I think the weapons platforms, Existence pointed out correctly, are probably just very good, very efficient. 65 points for those mortars might just be too good to not take. But it depends what the boards are like. I'm really excited to see what boards we're going to be playing on. I know for our league that we're going to be playing on some WTC boards. I'm going to be generating some missions and assigning terrain to those to try and give a balanced setup for our league, and then we're probably going to change it when WTC release their new boards in a week or 2. So yeah, really interested to see what all the tournaments are going to be running. All righty then. Chaos Nights. I am pretty fucking hyped for these. I've heard there's some good stuff in here. One of my friend Craig was looking at these, and I think he was quite excited about some stuff, and less about other stuff. So points wise, everything's kind of expensive. So, no, that's a lie. No, that's a lie. So the Asterius and the Perfian are 650 to like 730, but everything else is around that 400 points range. The Styrics, it seems a little steep. The Moirax seems quite steep at 170 compared to a Stalker at 135, so I'm not loving that. But let's look at these mid-sized knights. So we'll start off with the Asterius, which is the most expensive at 730 points. Who did I get in the 10th 20? I got Eldar Existence. I'm so sorry for what I'm doing. Just to briefly talk on that, we are doing some nerfs, and they were definitely spearheaded by Chris and myself, the two Eldar players, and Tom as well, who's playing Drakari and knows exactly how good the Eldar are. Wraith Knights don't get devastating wounds on the D cannons, so you probably don't take them. Towering isn't a thing. Indirect is nerfed down to what it is in 9th edition, so -1 ballistic skill and -1 AP. So it still stacks with -1 to hit if you're lightning fast or something similar. And if you have cover, it stacks with cover as well, which means indirect becomes a significantly less good. We've changed, it's basically most of the rules from that German tournament organizer pack they were talking about. We were talking about them as a team, and we're like, oh, these kind of seem reasonable for like an in-house tournament that we don't want to just shit stomp, because I could just run 3 Wraith Knights and then every game would be over on turn 2, and that's not, there's no point in playing that. It makes me a worse player, it doesn't make me a better player. So we're going to be changing those up, and I'm really excited to see what I can do, especially with this Forgeworld index. And Eldar is still too aggressively pointed. I am aware that I'm coming into this with absolutely an advantage, but I think it's the best we can do without getting into the nitty-gritty and going, let's change the points, which I think is a dangerous position to get into. We did talk about that on the last podcast, but yeah, we've nerfed quite a lot of things. Overwatch is 12 inches now, which is good. No bolter discipline on Desolation Marines. Existence says probably for the best of the balance changes. Yeah, like I'm not a huge fan of tournament organizers taking it into their own hands when they haven't had chance to see what Games Workshop's going to do. It's very different for people running events before they release things. That's fine, because this is an internal thing, and we just want to have fun and practice the game. It felt really pointless to play otherwise. I think we'd get 3 weeks in, and then everyone would just forfeit their games against me and Chris, and that would be really boring for everyone involved. So we'll see. We will see. I am super pumped to run some Shadow Spectres and Hornets now, though. Having looked at those, they look disgustingly good. All right, so Asterius. 730 points. Still doesn't have a melee invuln. Not a great start. 30 wounds. That is tanky. T13 as well. So this is kind of comparable to a Knight Tyrant at 485 points. It's like over 250 more points than that, though. Not loving that. It better be good. So +1 strength against +1 strength and damage against vehicle, not against monsters, interestingly. And it just has 2 culverins, a mortar battery, 2 conversion beam cannons as well. Let's see. So what was it? I had one of the mortar batteries. So this is anti-infantry 2, ignores cover and direct fire blast, 611, d6 plus 3 shots. This is a good this is where an anti-infantry should be. Like, the fact you're paying 730 points to get something this kind of is very interesting. I would be totally fine if this was like sort of the peak of of indirect fire. You know, d6 plus 3 shots is consistent but not unreasonable. Hitting on 3s, becoming 4s. Strength 6, AP 1, becoming AP 0, 1 damage. That's pretty okay by me. Anti-infantry 2 is kind of cute. I don't think it's super offensive with the AP 1. The stuff that wouldn't be wounded on 2s gets a pretty okay save. Oh, ignores cover. Take ignores cover off that, please. I don't care because it's on a 730 point model, but just for soapboxing about indirect. And then it's got 2 of these. So 12 shots, strength 6, AP2, AP 0, 2 damage. That's fine. And then the conversion beam cannon as well. I do like conversion as a rule that they've printed. It's weird that they haven't made it a USR with how many times they've printed it. But basically, if you're over half range, you get crit hits on a 4+, and then you get sustained hits D3. So you just get loads of hits. So this is going to be 6 shots at strength 16, AP2, flat 6 damage, conversion. So exploding hits on a 4+ to hit if you're far enough away and you're rerolling wounds. This seems decent. It's not 730 points, though. The Periphean. This is 645. So similar stat line. It has got 2 autocannons, a missile pod, and 2 las cannons. So blast twin link. Like, these are very scary. This is a very scary shooting profile. 2d6 shot, strength 18, AP minus 4, d6 plus 6 damage, twin linked and blast is quite nice. That is a good place to be. And then it's just got some other bits and pieces, some Helios missiles, the missile pods. I assume you can change those out. Yeah, this is fine. Stand still, get lethal hits, not worth the 600 and something points. Like, just take a Tyrant if you want something this sort of beefy. It is beefier, but it's not 200 points more beefy, you know? Knight Lancer. Now we're cooking with charcoal. The Lancer is 405 points, so pretty cheap by Knight standards. We have got a 14-inch move, which is fast, a 4-up inv on all of the time, which is insanely good, 25 wounds instead of 22. It has the same toughness, the same everything else there. You can tank shock for 0 CP, and it's strength 20, so you're just straight up getting flat 6 mortal wounds like almost all the time, and you can do it even if you've already used it. I think tank shock's going to be really big for knights. I think it's a good place to spend your CP, so being able to do this is vacante. And it gives assault to war dogs nearby. That is so fucking good. I really like this. I can see myself running this. Plus, you know, maybe you take 1 or 2 of these, maybe 2, because you've just got a straight up 4-up invuln all of the time, and then you just take 8 war dogs or whatever it is you can fit in the list. This seems pretty spicy to me. The shooting is underwhelming, obviously. So it's assault, which is really nice. You can advance and shoot. 6 shots, sustained hits 2, which is cheeky. 602, it's a very underwhelming profile, but you don't take it for this. You take it for all of the melee. Like, this feels like a legitimately good melee unit, in an edition where melee is really kind of squatted. And it has a weapon that it just says you wound on 2s. Go fuck yourself, basically. So it's 5 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 20, AP 3, 8 damage with Lance. So it's wounding anything in the game unless it has a toughness of 11 or higher with -1 to wound on a 2. Really nice. And then it's got a sweep attack, which is pretty solid as well. 10 attacks, strength 10, AP 2, flat 3 damage. Good for killing Terminators unless they Arm of Contempt, which they will, or if they have shields, which they will. It's just a really good model. I really like this. I rate this very highly. Ela Wuzzle says, do you know what your first GT of 10th is going to be yet? We have I think it's like basically an in-house games day on the 9th. And the first GT might be the LGT. It depends if they fix the game. Because I could rock up to something with 2 or 3 Wraith Knights and win and get some points. Last year, I probably would have done that. My goal was to try and get as high in the rankings as I could. I finished about 105th globally, which was okay. It was outside of my goal, but it was close enough. I wasn't too bothered. This year, the goal was to improve as much as possible, which is why I wanted to pick up something finesse like Eldar. This has not worked out for me, and I've kind of just been like, fuck it. Eldar's really good. This is a good time for me to pick them up. Gonna ride that out, see how it goes. I might go to a couple of RTTs because they're just fun, and I haven't really played much in the way of events this year compared to last year. At one point last year, I was doing an event every like 3 weeks or so, so I need to get my shit back together. But yeah, Knight Lancer, really good rules. I really enjoy this model. At 405 points, I think it was. Yeah, 405 points. I can see a world where I just slap 2 of these on the board, and I feel real good about it. Existence says, the Lancer is cool, but in a shooting meta, you're absolutely right. However, 14-inch move, it gives all of your war dogs around it assault guns, so you can get up the board as well. And it absolutely slaps in melee, and it has a 4-up invuln all of the time. I think that might be enough to get forwards, because you can just say, I'm going to deploy in the line. You've got a lot of shooting. You don't have a lot of melee to threaten me once I get there. I'm going to pick you up. We'll see if it pans out that way, but I'm very excited to play test some of this. Honestly, maybe not as Chaos, maybe as Imperium. I'm a little underwhelmed by Imperial's rules, but sorry, Chaos's rules. Castigator. This is the one with the sword and the bolt gun. So the bolt cannon, 18 shots, 622, twin 8. This is a really good bolt cannon. Imperial Guard, take fucking note. This is what you write as like what do they call them? They're bolt cannons. Who cares? Yeah, 18 shots, so you're getting 12 hits effectively, and then if you're shooting into Marines, you're dropping like 3 of these, 2 or 3 of these, and then they're making saves on 5s. This is a really good profile, and then it's pretty solid in melee as well. It's not quite as good. Oh, hold on, yeah, so you are hitting on 2s in melee with the Lancer, which is really nice. The Castigator, hitting on 3s, but it's a good profile. You know, strength 14, AP 4, 6 damage, or you've got a really good sweep. I really like the 3 attack sweeps more than the 2 attack sweeps. Even though it's only damage 2 over damage 3, I feel like it's a better place to be in. Existence says, spoiler alert, in Imperial Knights, the Lance and Castigator were way better. Oh, okay. I only looked at them as, for Chaos. I'm really looking forward to seeing them in Imperial then. We'll get there. Storm of Bolts, -1 to hit. I still don't like this rule. I think it's fine. I think it's good. I want to kill the shit that I shoot. I don't want to suppress it. And it gives sustained hits to the War Dogs. That's not bad. Maybe you go 1 Castigator, 1 Lancer. I'm pretty happy with this. And I think it's, again, like 410. Castigator, 420. I don't mind the extra 15 points. Charles says, what are the rules for souping knights? Any of these viable in other Chaos armies? That is a very good question. I don't think these ones specifically that we've seen so far. I think there are. I think you can. The Tyrant is the one that leaps out to me as the best to soup in for just like a general list, because Overwatch is so oppressive. It's got an 18-inch flamer, and then the Mortal Wound Harpoon is just very funny. It's quite efficiently costed. It's a 2-up armor save. It's pretty solid, because obviously you're not going to be using the strats on it because you're not in the detachment, so you can't rotate Iron Shields. There is a world where you take Thousand Suns and you take the I think it's the Desecrator, which can double gun, and you take 2 of the rapid fire battle cannons, and you just absolutely shoot down range after you turn off a unit's armor save. That's very funny. I think that's probably the best for souping into Thousand Suns. But we'll see if there's anything else that comes up, because I've only skimmed. I looked at the Lancer very closely. I looked at the Castigator, and then I kind of skimmed the rest. I looked at the Morax as well. I was kind of Knight Acheron. It's the flame one. Cool. A flame and chain fist. I love how sidebar. I love the models here. Each one has a very distinct flavor compared to the Questoris chassis knights, if you use Imperial Knight terms. I love how each one is very different. So you've got a bolt gun and a sword. You've got a lance and a shield. You've got a flamer and a chain fist. They all feel very thematically independent of each other, and I really like that. So it is. Oh, something to note: they just all have 3 more wounds than their Questoris brethren for the same points. Why have you done this, Games Workshop? It's fine. I'm happy to play them, but like, why have you done this? So you can turn off cover with your flamer against a unit that is hit by them. Spoiler: it auto hits, so you're definitely turning that off. And then it gives War Dogs. Okay, so it gives. It's an aura of 6 inches, which buffs your War Dogs within 6 inches. Those War Dogs, then any units in engagement range of them force battle shocks. This feels like the worst of the buffing rules on the data sheets. I'm not feeling it. But this flamer is 2d6, 812. Ignores cover. I'd prefer like 622, honestly. That extra pip of AP is big, and the extra 2 strength is often not going to be great. And 2-inch extra move. Great shout, Existence. Yeah, they are very fast. They're a little bit tankier. One of them's much tankier. And they all bring interesting rules in the way that some of the Chaos ones kind of don't. I am actually super jazzed to see them as Imperial Knights. I'll have to look at that. This has got a very typical strike and sweep. Even though it's a different name, it's just the same as the sword from the model before. Atropos. I actually don't know which one the Atropos is. This is the one that I can't remember. It's the one with the gammy hand and the long las cannon. Las cutter, sorry. Okay, cool. What's its buff? It buffs War Dogs against Titanic and Towering models. Sure. And it is +1 to hit against monsters and vehicles, +1 to wound against Titanic or Towering. Sure. Cool. Okay. That's a rule. +1 to hit against monster vehicles is quite good. I'm being unfair. Let's have a look. How many points is it? 4 or 5. So it is cheap. If it's a good gun wagon, then it is good. So it just has 1 of each. So the Graviton just goes straight to the. Okay, so the difference is you can be hazardous and you get devastating wounds, which I think you always do. D3 shots, strength 16, AP4, D6 +1 damage. This is fine, but I'm not blown away with only D3 shots. I know it's blast, but I want to shoot this in vehicles. The rules on this data sheet buff vehicle, like shooting at vehicles, so let me do that, please. And then the last cutter is sustained hits 1. That's good. Either D6 shots at strength 14, AP3, 4 damage, or 2D6, 712. I'm not feeling this one. It is a 5-up invuln all of the time, whereas the other ones haven't been. Yeah, against range attacks only. This feels like a mistake. it might not be a mistake. Maybe the Ceratus Knights are a different chassis. I think we've got another one coming up. No. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. Magira. Are you paying for the sins of 8th edition yet? 405 points, 5 up invuln all the time, same stats as a Questoris Knight. We're back in reality, but it does have a 5 up invuln all the time, which is very good. Ignore ballistic skill modifiers for war dogs in range of it. Okay, and it heals D3 wounds. That's not awful. Astropos always had the full invuln. Thank you very much. It has been a long time since I looked at that data sheet because it has been dog shit for a long time. What have we got here? Lightning cannon sustained hits 2, which it's kept, which is good. It doesn't ignore cover. That is a big miss. It's ignored cover for as long as I've seen it with like warp sight or something. 12 attacks is good. Strength 9 AP 0, 2 damage. Right, this is just so much worse. I feel like it used to be 823 or something daft. I only used it once in 9th. I took a really bad Knights list to a Glasshammer GT and just didn't have any fun. I was running 3 big Knights, 4 small, and this was as chaos. So you immediately understand it's bad. I wanted to use my McGarren. I was like, fuck it, it'll be fine. It wasn't fine. Yeah, this is a little sad. The Rad Cleanser that used to be, it still wounds on 2s, ignores cover, torrent, twin linked. It's no longer damage 3. That's really sad. Plasma Fusel, it's just 2 plasma gun shots, becomes 4 in rapid fire range. Sure. And then it's got either the... Oh, okay. So it's just got the fist or the chainsword, basically. That's all it has. Okay, I'm pretty underwhelmed by the Megara. That's a shame. I hope it has better rules on its data sheet for Imperial, because I've got one. It is behind me. Styrics. I think this one was like weirdly more expensive. Yeah, 440 points. Why is the Styrics more expensive? So it's the same stat line. It's still got the 5 up invuln, which is good. That is legitimately good. So again, it's got the Huntsmaster aura. I'm not liking this. Ignoring ballistic skill modifiers is fine, but like I don't want that to be my data sheet ability. Subtract. So this has got the slowing. Pick a unit that was hit by the Graviton Crusher. Every infantry that was hit by the Graviton Crusher, but it can only hit 1 unit because it's a single gun. So 1 infantry unit, -2 to move, advance, and charge as long as you hit it. Oh, that's so bad. Anti-vehicle 2+, blast 6-1-2, 3 shots. That is aggressively awful. That's so fucking bad. It's got the Volkite. So that's the 9 shots, 12-0-3 devastating wounds. Okay, so it's got the Abominance gun, and then it's got the Graviton Crusher as well. I am not loving that. And you just take you can take the Siege Claw and the Rad Cleanser instead, so it's just got the same. This isn't a full 40-point night. There is so much better you can do. And here we go. Existence says both Megara and Styrics are not great in Imperial Knights either, paying the sins of the past. Yeah, that makes sense. I was kind of expecting that because they were legitimately good before. Pouring one out for the one that I have behind me. Morax. This is the same stat line across the board as a War Dog in other variants. It can Heroic Intervention for 0 CP. That's not bad. I don't hate that. What's the melee like? Because it always used to have, weirdly, because they wrote the Forgeworld Morax first and then they didn't update it, it always used to hit on 4s, whereas regular War Dogs hit on 3s. So Siege Claw, 4 attacks, 12, -3, d6 plus 2 damage. It doesn't have a sweep profile, but that's a pretty decent melee. I don't hate that melee-wise, and Heroic Intervention. I have heard bad things about the guns. So the Volkite is 4 shots per. That's just not enough to get the death wounds off. Rad Cleanser goes with the melee. Lightning Lock is now AP 0, 1 damage. That's not it. Graviton Pulsar is weirdly better than the one in the big vehicle. It's strength 7. Sure. And then Conversion Beam Cannon. I do like Conversion Beam Cannons. I know I've said it before, but this is like, if you run them, I think 1 cannon and maybe a fist is a way to do it. If you get a 4+ to hit, you're getting, 2 to 4 hits. Strength 10 AP2, flat 3 damage. It's okay. Yeah, it is what it is. 170 points. I don't think you're ever running these, unfortunately. Like a Stalker is 35 points less. That is so many points. By the time you've run like 4 Stalker or Stalker equivalents, You've paid for the Moirax already, so cool. Chaos, bit underwhelmed there, but that's kind of how I've felt about Chaos Knights. I don't think they're bad, especially with the town rule. I think they're pretty solid. I think they have problems into Eldar, funnily enough, and some various other bits and pieces, but not loving what I'm seeing there from the Forgeworld, apart from... Oh, to be fair, no, the good stuff was at the start. I take it back. The Lancer and the one with the Castigator bolt cannon, I think it's just called the Castigator. I really liked both of those. They were cool. Looking forward to seeing those Imperial Knights. Drakari. There is one data sheet here, but boy, does it fucking slap. So, 230 points. It's a Tantalus. What is a Tantalus? It's a massive fucking footprint is what it is. However, it's very fast, 16 inches. It's T10, so I believe a Raider is T9, so a bit tanky there. 4 up save, 5 up invuln. Raiders have been nerfed down to a 6 up invuln. 18 wounds, so that's pretty tanky. Raiders, I think, have 10. And then it's got OC5, yada, yada, yada. Here's the thing. It holds 16 models, firing deck 16. And it's got 12 shots, strength 10, AP2, 2 damage. And then you can do some mortals on the charge, and it's kind of okay in melee, which you will jank as a Drakari player because that is how you're built. You're built different. But as a shooting platform, this is the most points efficient way that you can spend your pain tokens, because you can split multiple units with venoms, and you can put basically 3 Dark Lancers, 3 Blasters, 3 Blast Pistols, 3 Shredders. You just put like the 5 models with guns in, you put 3 combat squadded 5-mans with guns in there, and you roll, your pain token. You're like, oh, 3, I'm going to shoot 3 Dark Lancers, and I re-roll my hits on all of them. It is very efficient. This thing legitimately slaps. It's 2 and a bit times as much as a Raider, so you could just take 2 Raiders. I really like it. The Timmy in me says this is good. I don't know that it's good. I think it's fun, and I don't think you lose the game if you play it. I don't think it makes you better if you play it, but I don't think it makes you noticeably worse to the point where you struggle. This is terrain dependent. It might be too big for you to put it on the board, and at which point you just say, okay, I've got to let my dreams be memes, and I can't take it. But if not, I want to see some Tantalus on the table. I don't want to have to play against fucking Drakari. I hate Drakari. Even the shooting version I hate. But yeah, they're going to come for me. All right, Drakari, feeling good about that Tantalus. That's a 100% hit rate in my book. This is the best Forgeworld index so far. Grey Knights. So I did look at this because I wanted to know what the Banisher was, because I couldn't remember. I was like, oh, does it have Psycannons on the side? Oh, no, it's just a Redeemer with a Psycannon. So a Grey Knight's Redeemer is 290 points. That's kind of pricey. A Banisher is 255 points, but as far as I can tell, the only difference on the Banisher is instead of an assault cannon, it has a twin Psy cannon, and it's 35 points less. This is good. I like this. I think I don't know if people are going to run Land Raiders. I don't know if the meta is going to allow that. If we are in a meta where we allow Land Raiders, which I'm hoping we do, because it has been so goddamn long and they are so cool, the Banisher just feels like the best version of a Land Raider. I think does it still have the same transport capacity? Okay, so it transports 12 instead of 14. So you, for 35 points less than a Redeemer, you lose a transport of 2. However, you gain a Psy cannon over an assault cannon. I'll take that trade-off. I'll put 6 models in. It's a squad of 5 Terminators plus 1. That's fine. You can't take 6-man Terminators anymore. So you don't need that extra spot. This feels pretty okay to me. Or 2 6-man like strike squads with a character if you wanted to get janky. I like it. I really like the Banisher. I think this is an absolute hit. Really solid, weirdly undercosted. Thunderhawk Gunship, 805 points. At the other end of the scale. Fuck me, this is expensive. So this is comparable to a Knight in survivability, in that it has a few more wounds. It has 8 more wounds than a Knight. It doesn't have an invuln. I know it has a 2-up save, and you're probably getting cover, so maybe it doesn't matter. At which point, let's say, cool, it's got the survivability of like 500 points worth of Knight. And you can move and things can get out and charge if that squad has Deep Strike, the squad that disembarks, which they're probably going to. You're playing Grey Knights. I think everything has Deep Strike. It does mortal wounds on the move. What guns it got? Oh, God, so many guns. heavy cannon or a turbo laser destructor. D3 plus 1 shots, 20 AP minus 4, D6 plus 6 damage. That kind of slaps, actually. And then the heavy cannon is 2D3. Like, this, I can't justify this at 810 points. Like, at 600 points, I could get silly with this. It's very funny. It does hold 30 models. That's interesting. I don't think it's good because it's 800 points, and you will struggle to fit 300, an extra 30 points in your list after you do it. But I mean, it's cool, man. It's super cool. So Grey Knights, I'd say that's a 50-50. That's a 1-1, but it's very funny. So we're on to the Imperial Knights. We've looked at the weapon profiles. I don't think we need to look at those. So we're just going to look for things that are different. You know what? We're also going to look for points that are different. Points look... Okay, points are different. Why are points different? So the Asterius is still dog shit. The Perithian is still dog shit. Cool. We can just get rid of those. The Lancer is now 430 points. So it is more points here. Oh no, it can advance and charge. Okay, it's worth the extra 25 points. This is a thing. This is absolutely a thing, and it can still tank shot for free, and it's still good. Okay, and it's Bondsman, and you can give it the upgrade to let 2 things. So you can have 3 models turn 1 advancing in charge if you roll well. That's pretty good. That's pretty fucking good. Sorry, Existence, I missed your comment about the incinerators. The heavy incinerator downgrade on the Redeem is 611 compared to 622. I didn't see that. That's a great spot. Is that true? That is true. Oh, that's really disappointing. Okay. I'm now no longer super hot on it. Rewind, I actually really like the Redeeming more, but at 290 points, I don't know if you take one. Cool. Back to Knights. Knight Lancer, yeah. This is good. Advance and charge. It's really, really good. Can't give 2 bondsmen to Acertus. Thank you. Goes to the Questor's profile anyway. Okay, that's fine because you're still happy with 2 models advancing and charging, even if one of them is only an armature. You're kind of not super happy about that, but it's okay. Like, you missile it off, and you missile him off. Okay, yeah, this is very good. This is very good. Weirdly, I actually, for Chaos, here's a hot take for you. I think I like the Chaos one more for Chaos because I'm going to be taking a lot of shooting units that want to get up the board quite quickly. So having assault guns and just being able to advance up the board and shoot, especially with the extra AP on the closest unit on the Brigand, is not bad. But this is just objectively better. And for Imperial Knights, where you're just looking at stat sticks and then buffing your stuff and going, oh god, that's really good. All right, what's the Castigator do? Sustained hits 1 and AP improved by 1. Okay, that's interesting. Oh no, you just okay. So this makes the Hellfronts legitimately good. Sustained hits 1 and AP 2 on those autocannons is really nice. Existence says if only if Imperial Knights had a carnivore equivalent. That is true. I guess that might be why they didn't give it to Chaos Knights, because a carnivore with that would be kind of dirty. The Castigator, though, I really like this Castigator. I don't think it's got enough guns for you to play purely, back at range, but I do like it. I really like this. Is there a world you take 2 of these? How many points are they? Castigator 45. So again, it's more expensive, not by much, but yeah. Okay, cool. That is very cool. Oh, sustained hits 1 and AP. That's such a good bondsman ability. And they fucking give it to themselves now as well. God damn you, Imperial Knights. Why do you get the cooler stuff? Archon gets a fallback battle shock test. Yeah, whatever. Get out of my face. Astropos. Bondsman reroll wounds against Towering or Titanic. No. Get out of here. Like, in theory, yes, that's good if the meta is, leaning towards Titanic and Towering, but I just don't expect it to be to the point where you want to take that over other things. Megara. Bondsman ignores cover. Okay, so that's where the ignores cover goes. I think it's AP 0 and damage 2. This is still not it, which is a little sad. And what does the Styx do? Ignores cover as well. Interesting that it's just the same rule. You could have been a little more interesting there. I don't know why you didn't. Moirax, they get the same rules here. Heroic Intervention. Astropos is only 375 from Imperial Lines. Okay, I'll look at it again. I don't think I like it. Let's have a look. It does have a 5-up inv on all of the time. I do like that. It doesn't have a... Oh, no, wait. It does have melee. Such a weird profile in melee. 6 attacks hitting on 3, sustained hits 1. That's legitimately quite good. 14, 3, 4. So this... Right, hold on. Existence, you obviously like knights. And you're saying that it's only 375, which means that you kind of like it. I'm going to trust your judgment. Let's look at what use case we have for this, because I've written it off, but let's examine it. So the bondsman thing I don't think is great. It does help. It does help you in this bizarre matchup where we're playing into Wraith Knights with -1 to wound. That's true. You have an Astropos next to you. Oh, okay. So you've got the please make my expensive models more gooder. Yeah, me too. I can't convince myself that Megara is good, unfortunately. Yeah, okay. So you can reroll hits and wounds against Titanic and Towering. That's not bad into a Wraith Knight, but you're still wounding on 6s with the Helverins. So I don't feel like that's good. It does kill Terminators. That's what it does. It's got 6 attacks. You get 5 hits. You get, let's call it 5 wounds. They fail half the saves. There's going to be a reroll in there somewhere or a fail. It kills 2 Terminators. Okay, it doesn't actually kill that many Terminators. Bondsman is bad, but it's a shooting knight that still does combat. That is true. It has 2 guns. I don't love its guns. I think the last cutter is pretty underwhelming. It's fine. And I think the graviton cannon is okay, but I'm not super jazzed by it. It does do devastating wounds. I don't like it. I think there is a world that you could be convinced to take it if you needed to shave like 20 points somewhere, and you go, okay, we'll take out this knight that I wasn't super in love with, and I'll put it in. I think I just go like a warden and 2 of the Crusaders, or 2 wardens, 1 Crusader, and I'm really happy with that. I do like the Castigator in here though, but he is more expensive. So interesting. That is interesting. There's going to be I like that these are close enough that it's worth playing around with them. So you'll have to give me a shout. Ping me on Discord or something if you're in our Discord when you've tested out. I'm really interested to see how those go. In fact, just let me know how your knights are getting on, because I love me some knights. So feel free to hit me up when you know how they're doing. I'm not saying it's good, it's cheap enough to be interesting. I think that's a very valid opinion. I think, like I was saying, because it's so hard to write points at the moment for armies, because it's just like, oh, I'm 5 points over, guess I start again. There is a world where you just go, I take out this tank that is 20 points more, I put in this tank that is 20 points less. I'm happy enough with what it does that I'm not upset, because I like the rest of my list. Okay, so Styrics we've seen, and Moirax. Moirax is the same. I like the Moirax more in Imperial. How many points is it? Still 170? It's still 170, man. And a Warglave's 140. I just can't justify it. Like, if they tweak the points and they make these closer, I actually think a Warglaive might be better. Like, you don't get the protection protocols, but you get the Melter, which is just such a better gun than anything on here. I don't know. I'm super whelmed by the Moirax. Okay, Imperial Knights do got me feeling some kind of way, though. That is pretty neat. We're on a roll of things that I enjoy, and we're on to Necrons. I was a big Necrons player in 8th. I picked them up when Space Marines got their 2nd Codex, which kind of broke the game, and I had a winning record at tournaments into Space Marines with Necrons, which I was very proud of. Did my screening with my my Doomsday arcs, because there wasn't much else that was worth doing with them. So what are we looking at here? Tombstalker. I love these things. If you haven't seen them, do yourself a favor, Google it in another window. Look at the Tombstalker. Look at the Tomb Sentinel. They're just cute little spidery boys. Very scuttly. Very fun. All right. So this has got 8 shots with lethal hits. That's fine. It was never a ranged one, So 8 shots, 511, lethal hits, that's okay. You can heroic intervention for free, and it's got 6 attacks that hit with 4s. Ugh. 612, sustained hits 1. This is so bad. This better be like 60 points, otherwise I am very upset. Oh no, it's 115. Get in the fucking bin. It has a 4-up invuln. I don't even care. That's so upsettingly bad. Right, Tomb Sentinel, be good. So this is even worse in melee. No AP and 1 damage. Cool. It does have better armor on your objective and shoots things and gets better AP, depending on where the objectives are. That's kind of nice. It does give a feel no pain against psychic attacks. Okay, just the other one. Okay, so you might end up running one of these if psychic becomes the meta. I don't think it will, but that's just nice to have. Although I'm pretty sure spiders can have it, and I'm pretty sure spiders are cheaper. How much is a spider? Spider, spider, spider. Where is the spider? They haven't squatted spiders, have they? No, I'd have known about that. Canoptic spiders, 75 points. Yeah, you just take a spider instead. So this has 18-inch range, blast, d6 plus 1, hitting on 4s, which is super sad, but you can jank it with the Sepultural. Strength 10, AP 2, 2 damage. This is not 130 points worth of interest to me. This is so sad. I wish they were good. I remember that when they were half okay. Arcanthrites, probably Arcanthrites. 85 points for 3. That is not bad. How much is a Wraith? Because that's the comparable model. They don't have an invuln. They're like light Wraith. They're Wraith minus. Canoptic Wraiths, 110. Okay, so they're kind of cheap. All they do is they have melter guns. They infiltrate. They have melter guns. They are bad in combat, but they kill some chaff. And they, on a crit, okay, so you shoot something and then all your other units that shoot it on a crit wound improve the AP by 1. I can see this unit having a place. It is a 12-inch range, but it's an infiltrator. Honestly, at 85 points, I kind of like these as a skirmishing unit. I would have to have a quick look at how much the Ophidian Stalkers are, because they would fulfill very much the same role, but probably more effectively. 110. These guys are cheap at 85 points. Like, I don't know if that's enough to take them, but 85 points? That's not nothing. Yeah, they just get this stuff. Tesseract Dark. So this is super squishy. It moves 9, which is odd. T9, it does have a 4-up invuln. It's got 10 wounds. It's not going to go as far as you think it is. It used to have 3 profiles in this. Now it has 2. That's fine. It has a D6 plus 3 flamer, ignores cover, torrent, strength 6 AP 1, 2 damage. I'd like it to be AP 2, but it's ignores cover, so it's okay. It's hardest to charge as well, -2 from the charge roll. So you can kind of just set up in the middle board as a bit of a defensive piece against Eldar, like really squishy units. Seismic Lash, its big shot is D3 shot, strength 9, AP 3, D6 plus 1 damage, blast. It's not great. This would have to be like in the 120 to 130-ish range for me to take it. It's 130. Yeah, I think this is fine. I don't think this is, like, I'm not excited about this. I don't see it in Necrons at the moment. Although it does hit on 2s if you abuse that the character with the aura. I still don't love it, I think. But I can see this as a tech piece, or I can see this if we get a new detachment for Necrons, which buffs up the vehicles, perhaps, or brings some other synergies in. It's not bad. It's cheap enough. It's kind of jank. Does it deep strike? No. Only explodes 1 though. We are seeing that a lot. Explodes 1, deadly demise 1. Right. How many points is this? Is this just stupid? It's 470 points. That's not much more than a knight. It is upsettingly more than a knight. It has the same stat line apart from 2 more wounds and worse leadership. Cool. Invuln is all the time, so already feeling okay. It causes battle shock to enemies nearby. That's not awful. And it is a Titanic unit, and then it's the standard damage. What weapons does it have? It has 2 generators and the 4 limbs, but it can instead have 2 obliterators and 2 projectors. Okay, so what's it do? So if you keep the generators, it's 2d6 shots, hitting on 3s, which becomes 2s because of the character. Strength 10 AP 3, 4 damage, but devastating wounds. That's not awful. Or you can take 2 of these, so it's 16 shots. Strength. Okay, so like a load of heavy bolter shots, like a fucking load of heavy bolter shots, and then you'd have 4 shots at 24 AP4 D6 plus 4. I kind of like the bottom profile more. I know it's blast and devastating wounds, which is a great combo, but the unreliability here and the unreliability of the devastating wounds is kind of I think I would like this to do a thing, and that thing is punk dudes from afar. If we're seeing vehicles, this just goes, no, you point it into something, and that thing probably goes boom. And then in melee, it is, we're just assuming we have the character nearby, so it hits on 2s, which is really good, actually, for the points cost, because you're taking that character anyway. But it's got a strike, which is 6 attacks, strength 14, AP3, 5 damage. AP3, AP1 is kind of sucks. And then a 2 set attack sweep, 8, 1, 2. Okay. I could see this being used. I don't want to go out on a limb and say it's good, but I can see a world that you take it. Could you just take 3 of these, and does that do enough? The 5-pin one, maybe. I don't know. Like, it's so weird to evaluate things in a post Eldar meta because I'm assuming that they're going to get fixed. Watch this space. I'd be interested to see how they do. How much are the monoliths? Monoliths are like upsettingly expensive, aren't they? I think they were like 400 and change. 385. Oh, okay. Okay. I might have to run a full super heavy list on TTS at some point. Check out some Necrons. Okay, cool. Don't feel bad about Necrons. There wasn't a lot in there that I loved, but they didn't make me upset. Orcs. I've looked at 2 data sheets for orcs, and this is one of them. And goddamn. So here's some context. Kilocans. Let me just find how much a kilocan costs. Kilocans are 50 points a model. They're very similar. Grot tanks are faster. I think they might be a little squishier, but not significantly squishier. They have a rule which lets you move once per turn when someone gets near. That's pretty solid. And then you've got all these weapons. Just to sum it up, basically, each Grot tank can have 1 weapon. For every 4, you get an extra weapon. I think you just double up on rocket launchers. So you take 4, and 4 of the Grot tanks cost you 155 points. So that's 5 points more than 3 kilocans. And you get 5 rocket launchers instead of 3. You can take them in 4s or 8s. Like, you could legitimately just run 24 of these fuckers, and that would be actually quite interesting because they hit on 4s here. Strength 9, AP2, 3 damage, D3 shots, blast. That's a good profile for the points. I'm excited to see if anyone does anything with these. This feels like the sort of spam unit you can really kind of abuse. Grot tanks. This is I'm less interested in. It is T9, 3 up save, 12 wounds. So it's kind of like Rhino-ish in defense. It has armor of contempt all of the time. It does cost 110 points, so it's not super expensive. And then you've got I think you just take the twin rocket launcher and the twin rocket launcher. So you've got basically 2 rocket launchers with twin linked. Price and points to sell a bunch of Grot tanks for Forgeworld. See, I actually don't subscribe to the they price things to sell them. I genuinely think they just don't understand their game at a fundamental level to price things correctly. And we see that with like all of the obvious one. If they wanted to make things OP, they'd make all the new Primaris stuff OP. And they really missed the mark on that a lot. So in my eyes, I think they don't actually price models to sell. Grot tanks do be looking good, though. You got me there. They do be looking good. I was talking to a guy in Bolter and Chainsword at one point last year who went to his first tournament, bumped into him there as well. And he had converted up a load of Grot tanks, and they were very cool. Very much a unit that you can scratch build if you're an Orky player. But yeah, back to the Grot Mega Tank. 110 points. I don't actually hate it. I want to dislike this, but you've got 2d3 rocket launcher shots, and then you've got a rapid fire 10 shotgun. It's only like strength 5 AP01 damage, but it's just got chaff shots. And it looks really cool. Grot Mega Tanks just look really cool. I don't think it makes the cut. Probably. But it's cool. All right, Squiggoth. How have they pointed these? 150 points. That's 3 times the cost of a truck. And it's not that much tankier. So I think it's +1 toughness and then loads more wounds. But does mortals on the charge. You can give it a gun, but don't because you lose, space. And then it's got kind of really swingy melee. I don't love it. It has firing deck 10, which is legitimately good. I don't think you need to look at this, and I don't think you need to look at the gargantuan Squiggoth, because we're going to get to something that is legitimately so much better. What's this got? It can make range attacks without taking penalties because it's tall. Cool. And it's T13, 30 wounds. How many points is it? If it's cost aggressively, 440. Nah, this ain't it. We can just ignore it. Moving on. Kill tank. This might be okay. So it has one of the big weapons. It's pretty tough. T12, 24 wounds. So it's kind of a knight equivalent, and it is priced at 305 points. So it's cheap-ish for a knight's. It's quite fast for a knight. It doesn't have an awful melee. 8 attacks, 912, hitting on 4s. It's okay. But it has basically you either take the Giga Shooter, which is 611, 30 shots, sustained hits. 1, it's okay, or the Burster Cannon, which is 3d6 shots, strength 14, AP2, flat 3 damage. I kind of like this profile. It's hitting on 4s if you get within 18 inches, which is not hard with this profile, because you're just going to deploy it online and say, you can shoot me if you want, I'm going to go forwards. And yeah, +1 to the hit roll. So you're hitting on 4s, which is very good for orcs. I don't know if this is worth the points, because you're basically just taking this, and then you've got a couple of, like, what have you got? A Scorcher and a Twin Big Shooter. So, like, the rest of the shooting doesn't matter. But is this enough? Maybe not. 305 points. We'll see. I am really interested in the Dreads, though. So they got a weird stat glow up in my eyes. They got the T10s. They're sort of like at the top end of T7 from where that was before. 2 up armor save, 6 up invuln, which is really nice. 16 wounds. So they are chunky. They did not used to be this chunky, that's for sure. Movement 8, which is really nice for a Dreadnought. OC5 does mortal wounds on the charge, and if you have 2 of the same weapon, like 2 kill saws or 2 ripper claws, you get twin linked, which is just a nice place to be for a melee weapon. You've got something called boom bits, which are just there. I guess they're, claymore mines that you've strapped to your chest. They've got a kill cannon. So this is like some not insignificant shooting as you walk up, but you don't really care about it. He's got 2 flamers, which is not a bad place to be. Doesn't ignore cover and no APs, which is a bad place to be, but whatever. I like the melee weapons. You've got 4 attacks that are strength 14, AP3, 4 damage, or 6 attack, which is strength 12, AP2, 3 damage. Those are just different enough that I can see a use for both of them. You obviously do take 2 of the same weapon because you want those rerolls to wound more than you want the variability of the stats. Like if you're looking at it and going, oh god, I wish that I could wound vehicles better, but I might take the 12. You just reroll wounds instead of having the +1 to wound for being a higher toughness. It is what it is. I really like the Mega Dread. It is costed at 225 points. That's quite expensive, but not super expensive by Dread standards. I think it's interesting. I'm legitimately quite keen to see how these play out. And if you take the strength 14, you can do some not insignificant mortal wounds. I think it's 4 to 5 on tank shock, which is not awful. Then you've got the Mecha Dread, which is an extra 5 points, and it has it's a mech, so you can buff a vehicle model and heal it. Interestingly, it can buff and heal itself, so you could have it hitting on 2s in combat and 4s at range. That's not awful. It has a kill cannon, but I think that is so the kill cannon kind of just takes up an arm. Wait, does this thing have a kill cannon? Yeah, no, it has a kill cannon as well. No, okay, so they both have a gun that you can replace. Okay, so I think you take the twin link weapons in melee. But it is interesting that this thing's just a little more sustainable. I think other than that, the only difference is it's 5 points more, and you can buff stuff, and it doesn't do mortal wounds. I think dealer's choice. I think the mortal wound one might be slightly better, but I can see a reason to take both of these. This is the other data sheet I looked at. This is so fucking cheap. This is 75 points. Why is this 75 points? So the truck is 50 points. This is 75 points. 12-inch move, T9, great. 4 power save, 6 up invuln, just good. 12 wounds. Like, it's a pile of stats for 75 points. You're very happy to pay. OC3 is kind of whatever. It does mortal wounds on the charge. It's really dog shit in combat. It doesn't matter. Firing deck 12. So you're putting your fucking burner boys in here or whatever you want. And you can take a cannon or a super cannon, but then you get less infantry. It depends what you want to put in there. These things are fantastic. They are very big models, though, so kind of hard to fit in. But I don't understand why this is 75 points. Like, this is so good. This is such a good ball of stats. Like, you've just hit a saturation point where you go, okay, cool, I'll take it. I think it'd be interesting to see 3 of these 3 trucks, fill them with models, maybe take some other vehicles and just be like, go. That would be interesting. Warboss and Warbike. I thought he was getting legended. He is 85 points now. That's not a good sign. He must be much better than he was, he says sarcastically. So he's defensively still a bit of a beefcake, but not super impressive. +1 a hit when he's leading a unit. Advanced flat 6, that's very nice. Dakigun is just the standard Dakigun. I'm not going to read that out. So melee, he can have a big chopper, which is what he comes with, I think. I had to convert mine. No, mine came with a kill saw and I converted it to a power claw. So the big chopper is 812. That's a bad profile. Go next. Kill saw, 3 attacks. 3 attacks. That's so sad. Hitting on 4, strength 12, AP 3, 2 damage. Or the power claw, 4 attacks, strength 10, AP 2, 2 damage. Jesus. What a fall from grace. This guy used to be so good. I assume he can... Is he a lone operative? No. Huh. So they've managed to not put any rules in his... He can't join anyone. He's not a lone operative and he can't join anyone. We'll assume that's going to get fixed and he can join the bikers. I know there's not bikers next, so I can assume he joins them as well. Giving them +1 a hit is kind of nice. At 85 points a model, that's not too shabby. How much are the knobs on war bikes? 125 points for 3, and you can't take bigger squads. Oh, why are they so dog shit? They've got such good stats. T6, 4 wounds. 4 up savers, whatever. OC2. I'm not even really going to go into depth. I don't think this is worth 125 points. It's 210 points if you run the knobs and the war boss. I guess that's not awful. And you can flat advance with him. Maybe you do take them. Okay, what are the weapons? So big chopper's bad. And it's also just worse than the one on the guy above him. Cool. Chopper, obviously you don't take. Close combat weapon, you don't take. Kill saw, 2 attacks, 1232. Power saw, 922. Power stabber lance, 812. Okay, so I feel like you just go power claws here. You just take a squad of power claws. They hit on 3s because of the war. He hits on 2s because of the war. He's just +1 strength on these 2 weapons, but not on the kill saw. That's bizarre. Yeah, I actually could see a use for him. Because they go 18 inches and then you charge. I don't hate that. Maybe you put them in normal war bikes. How much are the normal bikes? War bike is 75 points for 3. Yeah, 25 points a model. I don't know. That's pretty interesting, actually. They're not expensive. Orcs are a pretty mixed bag there, I think. There's some stuff in there that looks fucking busted, but like not in a super obvious, oh, this is an oppressive way, but just like too many stats. Then there's stuff in there that is fun, which is the Grot tanks and the Grot mega tank. They've lost their move like D6. Wait, hold on. They have lost the D6 move, haven't they? Let me just go back and check. Because they used to only move D6 inches. Okay, yeah, they move 10 inches. I think Grot tanks are a legitimately good unit, and they're probably the backbone of your army if you try to go for a shooting orc army. You can also deploy them behind terrain and move out and get angles, which is not something that can be said for a lot of slower tanks, especially big units like this. Okay, I feel pretty good about orcs here. I think there is room for shooting orcs. Space Marines. There are 2 data sheets in here, and the first one is the Astraeus, and holy shit, the Astraeus is so sad. It is 525 points for a knight profile, +2 wounds. The invulnerable save is ranged attacks only, unlike every other data sheet they've put down here instead of up here. Good job, Games Workshop. It suppresses. It has 12 shots with its accelerator cannon, which is twin linked, but it's AP1. I guess you can put it into Dev Doctrine and then spend a CP to give it extra AP, but that's so much hassle. Like, I can't. You're putting that in the Desolation Marines. It's just a pile of stats, and the stats aren't stat enough. Like, I don't see it. Does it fly? It doesn't even fly. I'm sure it used to fly. Yeah, like this is no. I don't know if this wants to be. It's kind of like a mid output. I was just reading the fluff there. Shred tanks, aircraft, and ground troops are like, not with fucking strength 9, it can't. And AP1. 3 damage is good, but oh wait, what? Oh, I read that as 12 inches. Paying a bit extra for that 2+ versus most knights. Yeah, no, that's true. I just don't see it. I don't see why I'd want this instead of like any of the really good stuff that Space Marines can bring. And twin linked is a really sad rule to see on your big centerpiece model for Space Marines, because you want to put the full rerolls to hit and wound on the high value target you probably want to shoot at. I know it's good to have redundancy, but I'd rather have a better gun and then go, yeah, but I'm Space Marines though, and I'm kind of broken, and then just reroll to hits and wounds. So yeah, I don't know. Super underwhelmed there. Not a big fan of that. And then Thunderhawk. Is it still 800 points? Okay, 840 points. More expensive than the Grey Knight one. Less units have deep strike. It has the same rules. Yeah, so Space Marine Forgeworld, that's a swing and a miss. That's a real fucking miss. Let's just move on then. Alrighty then. What else have we got? Ravana Battlesuit. So this is the tanky of the 2 Forgeworld Riptide variants. Only it's not. It has a worse invuln. What the fuck? I think the stats are the same or very similar apart from the invuln. That's upsetting. What has it got? So it can shoot when it fell back and it can ignore modifiers. Pretty sure those are just the same as the Riptide. Once per game till the end of phase, it gets mini transhuman. Why is this once per phase? You could have just made this all of the time. How many points does it cost? This better be cheaper than a fucking Riptide. Ravana 235. A Riptide is 235. Oh, for fuck's sake, a Riptide is 235. What a sad fucking sack of rules. Why would I ever take this over a Riptide? The guns are so bad as well. I think it just has 2 of them, right? D6 plus 2 shots. 812. Blast. What's that meant to kill? It doesn't ignore cover, so it doesn't kill Marines because they're going to Armor of Contempt. Like if you're big centerpiece, 235 point models shooting, this is a good time to use Armor of Contempt. It doesn't actually have that much output. It has an average of what, like 9 shots. Let's assume it's guided. Oh, hold on, sorry, I forgot Tau. Do just ignore cover. I'm still underwhelmed by it. I'm still underwhelmed. Yeah, you've got 9 shots. Let's say hitting on 3s, ignoring cover. 6 hits, 5 wounds. You killed 2.5 Space Marines. That does not do it for me. We're talking intercessors here. That's not. Yeah, Simon says it's the same as a Riptide. All Riptide variants cost 235. Well, that is not a great sign, because I'm not going to lie to you. I have looked at these 2 data sheets and I was thoroughly underwhelmed. So Ravana, super big miss to me. I don't see why I'd ever take that over the Riptide personally. And that's not just because I own 3 Riptides. Yavara, this is the fast one. So it is faster and less tanky. And it's a 5-up invuln as well. This is a bad place to be. Simon says it's just not as good as a Riptide, considering it's supposed to be the hardier version. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it has a worse invuln, and then it has a once per battle rule. Why is that once per battle? Surely that's just an all the time. Make that all the time. Give it a 4-up invuln and give it AP2 on its guns, and then I go, yeah, I think I take it. Maybe. I'm not super jazzed by the Riptide anyway, so this is not worse than a Riptide. Is not a good place to be. Yavara, so faster-ish. Squishier, very cool. Once per battle, it can move 18 inches. Neat. That means it can go over a building and then move 2 inches. Fucking sound. Love that. What weapons has it got? Just one of each. One of each. So it is a single gun that's blast hazardous. Okay, so you overcharge at 823. That's okay. Like, this profile's fine, but 18-inch range is so sad. Then you've got the plasma flamer, ignores cover torrent, strength 10, 10 shots. 10 shots on a flamer is weird instead of like 2d6, but okay. 611. This is just not it. I remember when the plasma phase used to be damage 3. It was like 723 or something insane. Fixed attack 10 flamer. Yeah, that's super weird. And it ignores cover, which I guess is good for Overwatch. But yeah, no, this is not good. This is really not good. Not a fan of that at all. Tell you what I am a fan of. Yeah, Tetris. These things are fucking insane. 80 points for 2. It's a shame you have to take 2, but at 80 points, I think you will. They're like, they're not squishy. They're fast. They have infiltrate, so they get where you want them to be. T7 with 7 wounds is annoying enough that you don't really want to shoot them with something like super valuable, like fire prisms. Takes 2 hits with the main cannon because it's flat 6 damage. Yeah, 4 up save, OC2. This doesn't matter. When they are the observer, they give the guided unit 4 rerolls to hit. This is insane. This is the best datasheet. Like, I think this might be the best datasheet I've seen so far in comparison to everything else in the Forgeworld indexes. It's so good. It's so legitimately good. Simon says it's they will be below half wounds for battle shock. They are the same stats as Piranha. Yeah, no, I just mean it'll take two shots for the fire prism to kill them off. Yeah, this is such a good unit. At 80 points, you definitely take one unit in every tower list. Like, just take them. If you don't want to buy the Forgeworld ones, convert them or get yourself on Etsy. I'm sure there's somebody who's making them, or someone get something from China. This is such an insane route. Just giving full rerolls to hit on an army that has base ballistic skill 4. I know you can improve it. You're improving it to ballistic skill 3. That's very good. This is a very good rule. There is not much more I can say to it. There is not a lot on the datasheet. It's really fucking good. Tetra stonks are going up. I wonder if they're in stock. Honestly, have they sold out already? Let's have a quick look on the Forgeworld website. Let's just pull this one up here. Okay, they are still in stock. That's interesting. Okay. Then we have got Gamma says, I don't think it's that good. I absolutely do. Oh, they're out of stock. I must have misread it. I really do. Full reroll to hit is such an insanely good rule. Yeah, you don't have to go Morris. Just play them on TTS, and then when they're really good, you can procure some. Remoras are sad. Yeah, I did look at the points for these. 160 points for 2 is real fucking bizarre. Just take 2 squad of Tetris instead. So they're not planes anymore. They have stealth, so they still keep their -1 to hit that they used to from being a plane. They're just They can move once per game. They have some guns. It's the best burst cannon I've seen. But Piranhas are cheap with the same toughness. Oh, you're talking about the rerolls. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm sold on them. But yeah, Remor is a dog shit. This is not an 80-point model. Towner! Oh, 30 points. That concerns me. When I see 30 points, I know it's 1,100 points. 685? Okay. 685 points. That's interesting. That's not what I was expecting to see. I thought I was just going to skip right past this. Okay, fuck. Now I've got to think about this. So it's an 8-inch move. It doesn't fly. That doesn't really matter anymore. T13, 2 up, save, 5 up, invuln. That's okay. 30 wounds. So it's a tougher knight. It is a lot of points, but it's still quite tough. When it's guided, reroll hit roll 1. That's just good. And then it's Titanic, so it moves over. It explodes for D6 plus 3. What are its guns? It's all ballistic skill 4 base. That's a little sad, but it's fine. which Galmaris reckons it's probably 150 less than it should be. Interesting. So that could be interesting to see. T13 making a lot of guns wounded on 5s is quite important. That is true. That is true. My head is stuck in Eldar mode where I'm like, but mortal wounds and fire prisms. So it's got a fusion eradicator, pulse ordnance drivers, smart missiles, tracks, and Jesus Christ. Okay, so it can double up on the fusion eradicator, it can double up on the Traxxas iron cannon, and it can go the rail cannon, the Nexus missiles, or the ordnance drivers. I think Ilowizzle said in chat that was it Ilowizzle? Existence said that heavy railgun might be it. So let's look at that one first. Heavy rail cannon array, 2 shots, strength 26. Lol. AP5 16 damage. Fucking hell. Devastating wounds and heavy. That is a profile. That is a profile. So that's going to be hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, wounding on 2s, rerolling with a CP. Oh god, that's actually kind of dirty. And it is 2 shots. So that kind of just picks up whatever in the game doesn't have an invuln, right? That is dirty. I'm not sure hold on, 685 points, 150 points too cheap. Maybe, maybe not, but that is a good gun. What else has it got? So I think you're right. You obviously take that. What does it replace? It's the pulse ordnance drivers, which are okay, just not good. AP1 is not where I want it to be with 3 damage. Reroll the wounds with a stealth suit spotting as well. Is that a strat? I'll be honest, it's been a little while since I've looked at Tau. I can't remember how that one works. If you can reroll wounds on this thing, that just gets silly. It doesn't even have the disclaimer for like most Titanic things where it's like strats cost more. To be fair, that's the actual Titan models. It's datasheet ability. That is good. That explains why you were running so many of them when I was watching your game, half watching your game. Okay, so that's really good. You don't care about the pulse ordnance, and then what's the other thing that you could have? The Nexus missile launchers. These are legitimately quite good. 16 shots, 832, but it's not better than the rail cannon array. 3 drives or 2 missiles, but you're still taking the HRG. Yeah, so I think I absolutely agree. Existence. Even looking at it in that way, I still like the heavy rail cannon array. That is pretty snazzy. So then you're looking at the fusion eradicators and the tracks and cannons. So the Fusion Eradicator, Melter 3, 24-inch range, 5 shots, strength 10, AP4, D6 damage. I don't love that because this thing is slow. You probably want it to be pretty immobile. What's the Traxxas cannon? Blast or Blast Hazardous, D6 plus 3 shots, so you're getting 2 of those. 822 or 933. I kind of like that. I know there's a lot of like mid-strength stuff for Tau, but it's just weight of fire. And it feels like a better gun than the Fusion Eradicator to me because I don't think I want to be within 12 inches. My 6 attacks hitting on 5s, 8 strength 8 AP 1 2 damager. I'm not loving that. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not loving it. Yeah, no, this looks really good. 10th edition and Eldar have my brain all fucked up on what's points efficiency. So to me, this sounds like it's like right or maybe a little on the high side, but it'd be very interesting to see how it sort of pans out once we get through the first balance patch and they change the points correctly. I like this. I think this has real legs. 2 of them, in fact. Big crushing feet. Step on me, daddy. Gilmore says if you split fire with it, it gets -1 ballistic skill on this unspotted target. That is true. That is true. I still don't know that I take the fusion eradicators because they're short range, but maybe that is enough to swing it. Maybe you're right. And then it's also got burst cannons, smart missile systems. What are the smart missiles? Are they actually good in this model, or are they just dog shit? Just dog shit. So you've got 12 shots, 501 indirect fire. Cool. And then the burst cannons, Yeah. All right. That is what it is. Then we have got the Barracuda. How many points is the Barracuda? Are we just into the silly planes now? I don't like silly planes. -1 to hit. Tanky-ish. What's it got? Burst cannons, drift swipe, burst cannon missile pods, and it can have cyclic iron blasters. Seeker missile. Oh, 4 Seeker missiles. That's kind of okay. Now you've got my attention. When you can put 4 Seeker missiles on a model, that does make me kind of sit up and pay notice. 220 points though. The planes might have play. Yeah, you know why I think they might have play? Because these fucking Seeker missiles. That is appealing to me. Let's look at what it has. Oh, well, you can take a railgun. I missed that. Oh, okay, that's not bad. It's single shot, dev wounds, strength 20. Okay. You can take the cyclics. Do you, or do you take the iron cannon? No, the iron cannons instead of the. Yeah, so you don't take the iron cannon. Oh fuck! Hold on. Now I've got to do some thinking. Right, railgun. It doesn't have rerolls to hit inbuilt. I think you might take the iron cannon. That seems like it might actually be better. No hover on the Barracuda. So existence. I don't hate the Tau planes not having hover, or the ones that don't have hover. I don't know if they all don't, because you're playing for the turn 3 exploding hits. Everything gets so much more effective. When I was playing Tau at the tail end of 9th, I was quite often leaving my planes in reserve until turn 2, bringing them on behind a big L so they couldn't be shot, flying over. Obviously now it takes movement, but as Galmara said to me a couple of days ago, it doesn't matter. I can move across the board because I have no maximum move, which is very fair. I wasn't realistically going to be shooting them until turn 3, but I'm getting the sustained hits, which is really nice, especially now it's sustained hits 2 with the guided. Any other faction, you feel a bit bad about it, but it kind of plays into the way that Tau want to play. And if you leave it in reserve and your opponent gets really aggro turn 1, you can be like, okay, cool, I've got to bring it in. It's a bit less effective, but I do like the output it can have. Okay, so what do we put on the Barracuda then if we go for it? Because it's not too bad defensively. T10's high. 3 up save, 5 up in 14 wounds, -1 to hit. This Barracuda is actually like upsettingly tanky. I don't like that. So you're going to take, you're going to remove the burst cannons for the cyclic irons, even if you don't overcharge them. 3 attacks at 711 as opposed to 8 attacks at 601. I like this way more, and you've got the opportunity to overcharge it. I think it's just better. I know it's a little way to fire, but it's AP0 is so sad in this edition where covers everywhere. I don't even think it's the best of planes. Oh man, am I fucking stun locked on the worst plane? This is wild. Okay, so we're just going to whiz through then. So you take the cyclics, you take the. I think you take the ion here. I think I like that more because single shot on the railgun is not great when you don't have inherent rerolls, and I don't know this is the unit you want to use your Tetris for. Maybe it is because of the Seeker missiles, but yeah. Oh, but then it synergizes with the Seekers. I don't know. We'll talk about it when we see more of them. That gets solved later. Oh, okay. That gets solved later. Neat. Tiger Shark. How many points are we looking at the Tiger Shark? 315 points. Hot take. This isn't the good one. T11. 18 wounds. 3 up, 5 up. It's not bad. Forces a battle shock test. I don't love it. It's got transport, and then it's got an array of guns, 2 bursts, 2 irons, 2 missile pods. Lol, it can take 2 railguns. It takes 6 Seeker missiles. And okay, hold on. Sky Spear missile racks. Okay, that's not what I thought it was. This is fine. At the price point, the 1.5 Barracudas, I'm not feeling like this is a better gunboat. So we're going to skip forwards on this one. It's going to be embarrassing if I'm just skipping the good one, but I don't think I am. Huh. That's funny. So the A10 Tiger Shark. Oh, hold on. Shit, I looked at the wrong Tiger Shark. 275 for the Tiger Shark. Okay, that's actually not that much more expensive. But we'll look at the A10 Tiger Shark. 315 points. Let's have a look at you. It has 6 Seeker missiles, 2 cyclic ions, twin heavy rail cannon. Okay, I don't think this is the good one, although it is funny. Anti-Titanic 3+ with dev wounds is very funny, and rail and twin linked. So this just straight up does 11 mortal wounds to a Wraith Knight, and then whatever else you put into it, which is quite funny. Maybe it is the good one then, because it's not the Manta. There's no way it's the Manta. How many points is the Manta? Yeah, 2,100. I'm not even going to look at that one. Okay, so out of these, which is the best one? I fucking stun locked myself because you've said that it wasn't even the good one. I looked at it for so long. So the Tiger Shark can take 2 railguns. Maybe it is the Tiger Shark. Yeah, Gilmar says you think the Tiger Sharks. What I thought it was 315, it didn't seem like it, but at 275, that is like good. So you come in, right? What do you do? So you come in, you've got 2 railguns, 6 seeker missiles, 2 missile pods, 2 burst cannons, 2 sky spear missile racks, and you just light something the fuck up. I do not hate that. That is very funny. Okay, and it's 275 points, and it is kind of tanky. Gilmar says there is one small problem with the planes, though. What are we talking? What do you reckon the problem is? What have I missed? The base is 6.5-inch long. Ah, that's quite long. The Barracuda is 220, 16 shot, strength 6, 111, railgun, 2 seekers. Yeah, I like the Barracuda. I think, is it not 4 seekers on? Yeah, you can have 4 seekers on the Barracuda. It's fine. It can't shoot the turn it comes on. Wait, can flyers not just come in from reserves anywhere on the board? Can you? I need to double check that in the core rules. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to trust one of you to do it. As far as I'm aware, flyers just come in anywhere. Is that different? Oh, that's different. That is not good. Well, that sucks. Large amounts. Okay, yeah. So the Tiger Shark is unplayable. Well, that sucks. It's so big as well. It's such a big model. You can't even realistically hide it. Barracuda game. Have a look at how big the Barracuda is. Because I can't remember. Simon, flies can't shoot the turn they arrive because it's coming in from Strat Reserve, and the base is over 6 inches. It can't be fully within 6 inches of the board edge, which means that, as per the core rules, if you can't come in within 6 inches fully, wholly within, you don't get to shoot, which is kind of not good. The Barracuda is kind of big as well. 2 Vulcan grav tanks. God damn. They are beefy. So you have to just bring them in turn 3 and then just shoot something. I think that's fine. Honestly, I'm kind of interested in these planes. I think these planes really kind of play into the Tau playstyle. It's a circular oval shaped base. Existence, I'm pretty sure it's an oval shaped base because that most flyers have an oval shaped base unless they're absolutely massive. Can we use the stealth suit rapid ingress strat for 0 CP? Oh, now we're fucking thinking with portals. Good job, you. Yes. That is a great shout. Yeah, no, okay. Simon might have the answer, Gil Norris. Rapid ingress the Tiger Shark. If you're playing against someone you're not expecting to be able to shoot it out the sky, if you can angle so it's behind a bit of WTC blocking terrain. Yeah, no, okay. Tiger Sharks are back on the menu. Great fucking shout, Simon. Good job. Fucking gold star to you. I'm so excited about this actually. I hate planes, but I love it when I get to play with planes. It's very hypocritical. I understand. It's not fun for anyone else to have to play with planes, but they just the amount of guns they bring are so good. Yeah, let's have one last look at the Tiger Shark, and then we'll move on. So it's T11, 3-up save, 5-up invuln. That's really fucking tanky for a plane. 18 wounds. It has no other defensive strat abilities on its data sheet. We're going to drop the transport bay, I think. Do we care about the missile racks? 2 Sky Spear missile racks. 2d6 plus 2, 611. Like, I think this is enough firepower that maybe I do. But if you're tooling it up to kill vehicles, maybe you don't care and you just put some breaches in and then they get out and shoot some stuff. Oh, no, it's only tactical drones. Okay, never mind. Fuck that for a laugh. Put the extra guns on. Just put them all in. Do you need deep strike for rapid ingress? I don't think you do, but if someone could confirm that, that would be great. I think it's just scariest with rapid ingress, with deep strike, sorry, so it can go anywhere. Tactical drones are hot garbage. Yeah, Gabaris. I thought it was just you could put anything in. I was like, oh shoot, put some breaches in. They're pretty neat. What you could do, and I don't know if it's worth it, is you could put a small squad of tac drones in to act as the spotters, the guiding unit. Yeah, we could just put the suits. Need a board edge. Sorry, Simon. I don't understand what you mean. We could just put the suits need a board edge. Oh, near a board edge. Yeah. This feels like a good candidate for Tetra rerolls. I'm not gonna lie. It's got a lot of guns. Oh, Gamora says that TAC drones don't have the army special rule. Cool. So you're not doing that. Nah. Okay. I actually really like these planes. Was there anything else in here? Like Tau Forgeworld actually kind of popping. Let's have a look. So we're gonna assume that if you take those, you have damage to your sight, and I'm sorry. Tetras look real fucking good. Remoras look real fucking bad. The Taudar is weirdly kind of popping. That does look good. Barracuda I like, but I think if we can play around the issue with coming in from reserve with the Tiger Shark, we like that. Have we done the Town R at 685 points? We have. We'll just summarize very quickly. It was pointed out to me that the heavy rail cannon array is really fucking good. So basically, it's going to be hitting on twos because you're going to be improving their ballistic skill. Take it down to ballistic skill 3 with the guided spotted unit. It's going to be rerolling ones, and you're going to get +1 hit from heavy. So basically, you're going to get 2 shots hitting on 2s, rerolling ones with the heavy rail cannon. It's Titanic and it's towering, so it can see fucking everywhere. So it's really hard to hide from. It will wound most things in the game on 2s. You're going to have 2 shots. If you need to reroll one of them, you will use a CP, and then it's just a straight fucking 16 wounds, maybe 16 mortal wounds. Like this thing is pretty snazzy. And then on top of that, I personally think you take the 2 Triaxis cannons. I know the Fusion Eradicator is better for killing vehicles, but I want to not get close. So at that point, you're just going to go. I've also got where's it gone? 2d6 plus 6 shots hitting on 2s, rerolling. Oh, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. Strength 9, AP 3 damage. I think this is a really good unit. I'm not sure if it's worth the points, but that might just be my Elderberry talking. With the Tetra for use of the rest of the audience. Yeah, like this would be a great place. Oh, actually, you don't really need to get the rerolls from the Tetra with that because it's already hitting on 2s with the main gun, rerolling 1s. Galmaris points out, yes, the stealth suits reroll wounds. And yes, rapid ingress doesn't need deep strike. Perfect. Thank you so much, Existence, for clarifying that. I love how this has just become like the Tau gathering zone. That is quite cute. All right, Tau. I'm pretty happy with what we've got here for Tau. I also just love that the Manta can hold 200 models. You're never going to take it. But have I done the Tantalus yet from Drukhari? I have, John, but I will give you a quick refresher. It's 230 points. It's 2 and a bit Raiders, but it's faster. It's T10. It's tougher. It's got a better invuln. It has more wounds. Not more wounds than both of them combined, but it's got a better gun. And you can do the jank of you take multiple Cablite squads, you split them up with a Venom, you put all of the guns into one squad, and then you use 1 pain token, and you just reroll all the hits. I think the Tantalus is not more competitive than Raiders, but I don't think it's significantly less competitive. So I don't think it makes you better at playing the game, like in the way that Drukhari want to play. I think it doesn't make you significantly worse. I think there is a world that you put it in reserves and you bring it on and you just load it to the skills and you get an angle on something that is super hard to kill and you just say, you're dead, son. I think I'm really excited to see a Tantalus, as long as it's not across the table from me. Galmar says, guess which is more expensive, 200 breaches or 200 attack turns? Well, it must be breaches, because breaches are really good. They've got ballistic skill 3, right? So it's got to be them. John says, thank you so much. I just bought one today. John, I don't think you should be disappointed. I think they are really, I think they're in a great spot. They are Forgeworld rules that are not OP, but they are playable and verging from like decent to possibly strong. The reason I like them a bit more than the Raiders, and this is someone who doesn't play Drukhari, I like the guns more with the rerolls. 12 shots, you're looking at a lot of hits there, whereas the Bright Lances, the Dark Lances, you're not getting so much value out of the rerolls there. But yeah, Tantalus, super good. I think you should be really happy that you've bought that one. All right, so last one here. we are on to Tyranids. I think I like Tyranids. There's only 4 data sheets. Let's just, we've done the town now, so let's just go straight to the Hierophant. I don't think you play it. It's 810 points. This is too much. It's, you know, it's 30 wounds. It does have a 2 up, 5 up. It's T14, which is cute. Its flamer is damage 1. Its biocannon, it does have 2 biocannons. It's kind of whatever. And then it's pretty okay in combat. You know, you get extra attacks and you've got these big damage, but it's 810 points. The list that I've been playing around with for Nids, I don't want to take big expensive stuff. I want to take lots of underpriced tough stuff. So Harrispexes, I want to take Exocrines, I want to take Zonethropes. I don't really want to be taking something 810 points. However, there is a Titanic unit that I'm kind of excited by, and that is the Harridan. So the Harridan is not anywhere near as tough as its walking brother, which might be a problem. It's only T10. It's 3 up save. It doesn't have an invuln. It's 30 wounds, and it is a fly with a 20-inch move. And because it doesn't have deep strike and it's so big, you're going to have to start on the board with hover. Otherwise, it's never shooting. Or you rapid ingress it, which is, you know, I guess maybe a thing you could do. So it has 2 dire bio cannons, which is blast, 48-inch range, d6 plus 6 shots, hitting on 3s, which is not awful. Strength 10, AP 3, flat 3 damage. That is a pretty okay profile. I'm quite happy with that. That kills a lot of things just through weight of fire, because you're looking at, realistically, keep in mind, 2d6 plus 12 shots. But you can also +1 to wound when you shoot, and then on a 2+, take d3 mortal wounds. Cool. I've got a pile of wounds, so I'm not upset at taking the mortal wounds there. It's yeah, this thing is actually kind of legit, I think. It might be too many points for the stat line. It is expensive. It is 655 points. It's not worth 655 points, but like, those guns are good, man. And Nids really kind of struggle for some good guns. This wounds you know, this wounds knights on a 4 because of the +1 to wound. So that volume of firepower might be legitimately quite good. Gelmar says tact drones are 50% more than breaches. That's upsetting. That is very upsetting. Yeah, no, this Harridan I'm a big fan of. I think it's too expensive for what you get. I'm excited to see it win a GT though, because some madman's going to take it, and I think it's pointed enough that you can just like bring it down and really be oppressive with its output. The other 2 units I kind of like, and I know I said I don't like paying a lot for things in a Nid Codex, but these are T12 2 up save 18 wounds. These are mini knights. These are not quite a knight, but they're kind of getting there. They're 305 points. Again, that might be slightly too expensive, but they look okay to me. The Hierodule, the barbed Hierodule, it's got a biocannon, d6 plus 3 shots, hitting on 3, strength 9, AP2, 2 damage, and then it's got 8 attacks, strength 14, AP2, d3 plus 3 damage in combat. They're okay. John says the 5 up feel no pain on monsters is so good for Nids. That's absolutely true. These 2, everything in here is actually a really good vehicle for that. It's a great place to put that. I'm not super in love with the barbed Hierodule. I don't think it's the better of the 2. The shooting is okay. Oh, it does have 2 biocannons. Actually, sorry, I thought it only had 1. So this is 2d6 plus 6 shots. Okay, I don't know that you need the mid strength. You've got the Zonethropes for that, but it's kind of cool. What I legitimately actually kind of like is the Sight Hierodule, and maybe 305 points is too expensive here. But you've got an 18-inch flamer, 3d6 shots, strength 6, AP2, 1 damage. It is only 1 damage. That does suck. But if we see elves trying to do things, guard trying to do things with infantry, that's a really nice profile for stopping them with Overwatch. And then it has in melee 10 attacks, strength 14, AP2, d3 plus 3 damage. That feels pretty good. And it can charge and fall back and charge, I should say. It's fast as well. It's a 12-inch move over the 8-inch move on the barbed. I feel like these might have play. I feel like it's a solid place to put, you know, give them cover. I mean, they're either getting cover anyway because you're playing 10th edition, or you've got it from some zone ropes or something. They're probably worth taking. So you hit them with cover. Suddenly he's got a 1-up armor save. You give it a 5-up feel of pain if you need. This thing is just like annoying to kind of deal with. If it reaches melee, it blends. 10 attacks. It's only hitting on 3s, but it's got the strength to wound everything in the game on 3s. AP2 it's not great, but it's enough. And D3 plus 3 damage is really nice. I really like this thing. I'm excited to see someone play around with these, and I will definitely be looking at playing around with these. All right. Well, thank you all for coming and listening to the rambles on the Forge World. That was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. 2 hours 47. That I was expecting it to be in the 4-hour range. When I looked, and there were like about 12 different PDFs. Going to call it a night now. There will be more content coming next week. We're going to be recording a lot of videos, obviously, on the indexes, and I'll be looking at probably putting in a stream on Thursday. I think I'm going to be doing a Thursday night stream. Going to give that a go, see how it works for us. It was also thanks, Ed. No, thank you all again. It's really nice for you guys, for me to see all you guys in chat and interacting. Always appreciate the overview. You're welcome, Simon, and always appreciate the interaction. I can't do this if we don't have people in chat, and you guys make my time feel very worthwhile. Well done, Herculean effort. I don't feel too bad this week, Existence. I feel pretty okay. Doing 1 3-hour stream is very manageable. All right. Thanks again, chaps, and I will see you all later on.